All right. The Sort of Sports Podcast presents The Big Salad.
If it was a regular salad, I wouldn't have said anything. But you had to have that big salad.
On to Season 2, Episode 15. 15. We've really made it a long way, Quinn.
We have. We
made it such a long way that we're in a completely new setup now. We're downstairs.
We are. Let's just describe this to the people here. All right. So first we were upstairs looking out a window that peered out into the road over a empty cornfield for now until it gets replanted in the spring. But now, over the past couple snow days, Ryan and Molly took the initiative to change us, and now we're down 2 floors and we're underground.
Yeah.
So
now we went from dry upstairs to the damp downstairs. We really switched things up.
Exactly. And in addition to that, we have a little new ritual we're doing to start this show.
Oh, yeah.
We are, because everybody knows I'm a huge Scooby-Doo fan, and Ryan loves Scooby-Doo as well.
Yes.
So we have Scooby-Doo episodes playing in the background on the split screen, so we might just have a random Scooby-Doo moment coming.
Yeah, we might. Or we're just watching the theme song right now. We got the captions on.
Exactly. So we're gonna hear what's going. We're gonna read what's going on, and we'll just see what happens.
We're watching Go Away Ghost Ship, the Redbeard episode.
Yes, Ghost to Redbeard. So be watching out. We're probably gonna make it through 2 or 3 by the time maybe 4 by the time we're getting.
Yeah, maybe. And now that I'm downstairs, we have like much better internet connection, so we can actually do that. And it also will take less time to upload the podcast. I just recently recorded the episode that was titled in all caps, "Oh my gosh, we're getting the AFC title game with Bengals Chiefs."
Yes.
And
your
yes, I'm very excited by this. And I recorded that down here, and it uploaded exceptionally fast as it's ever uploaded. And now that we're downstairs, also the cat is messing with us more. As you can see, the cat's breaking in.
Yes, there goes the cat.
There it goes.
What's in that room?
That's just like back storage stuff. Yeah. Okay. So he's probably gonna go kill some mice or something back there.
Yeah, the cat has been playing with its ball over here.
Yeah, he never really used to mess with us, but now that we're down here.
Now he's down here, he feels he needs the interaction.
I'll probably hang some stuff up. You see, I got a clock over there, Quinn. We'll probably have it really nice and decked out within the next couple weeks. So.
I agree. I think you're gonna have this looking nice.
Be prepared.
What's happening here is I see a super shaggy sandwich getting smashed down with the rope, and Scooby-Doo's gonna pull that string for her.
I always love in these old ones, like how their mouths can fit no matter how big it is. Like they just expand. Like they could eat the whole planet. They just expand the mouth. It's nuts.
Yes. Very good animation by Io Takamoto, who was
you even know the name of the animator.
Yes, one of the first Asian American animators back in the day, and worked exclusively for Hanna-Barbera on multiple series. But anyway, in today's episode...
Oh, wait. I forgot.
Go ahead.
Your host, Quinn Maseko.
We'll keep the banter just in for you people. But in today's episode, we talk about the recent rejection at Cooperstown over Baseball Hall of Fame. Mm-hmm. Who's going to retire during this off season, and Sean Payton's departure from New Orleans. So we begin today reflecting on last weekend's divisional round games. Great games, 3 games that came down to a last-second field goal, 1 game that went to overtime, scoring 25 points within the last few minutes of the game, counting overtime, and it was just a crazy weekend. So, Ryan, what's your takeaway from the Titans-Bengals?
Well, first of all, the other day somebody said to me, they were like, well, even if the Bengals do make the Super Bowl like you think, the Rams will eat them up because Aaron Donald will just sack Burrow.
That wasn't me this time, by the way.
Yeah. They were like, Aaron Donald will just sack the crap out of Burrow, and I feel like this game proved that doesn't matter. Burrow got sacked 9 times, and they still won.
Let's hold the phone there.
Okay.
Tannehill did throw 3 interceptions.
Yes. I'm not going to act like...
the sacking.
True. But I am saying the Bengals can overcome that. And I do think that's probably going to be a big point of emphasis. Because the Chiefs, the pass rush is not going to be as bothersome. The Titans and Rams are arguably the 2 best pass rushes in the NFL right now. So...
Well, let's just slow the roll right there.
What?
My team did lead.
And left in the playoffs, sorry.
Okay.
Sorry, left in the playoffs. Those are the 2 best defenses in the left in the divisional round.
Yes, I agree.
And I think there's an argument for the Niners.
Somewhat.
So, but if Nick Bosa's out, then no.
Yeah.
But he was obviously played against
He
the
played.
Packers game
So
we're
he's
going to talk
gonna be
about
playing,
after this.
yeah.
But to me, it was really impressive showing for the Bengals because it showed that that offense still clicks.
Yes.
And that team is as legit as the believers do think. And I mean, Burrow is one of the kings of press conferences. I love all his, interview stuff. And the new Joe Cool, the Tiger King himself, as they've been calling him. But Joey B had because we have LSU Tigers, yeah.
I know.
Joey B was at a interview right after the game with the guy from CBS. Also, CBS, great choice taking the AFC game. I know, I see, he's cutting a hole.
Scooby-Doo's cutting a hole in the fall because it's so thick with a knife. Anyway.
It's almost funnier when there's no audio because you're just like thinking about what it sounds
now
like.
You
Yeah.
gotta see, yeah.
So
Anyway.
back to what I was saying about
Joey
Burrow.
B.
Joe Burrow.
Wow.
So Burrow and all that. After the game, CBS also great choice on CBS. What I was saying, taking the AFC games because the AFC, even as a Panthers fan, I know the NFC is not as fun.
Right, and CBS always has the AFC contracts anyway, ever since NBC gave it up.
Yep.
Because, back in the day,
Yeah.
Fox never had games until
Really?
not until the 90s. So back in the day, how it used to be was AFC all day on NBC, NFC all day on CBS, ABC had the Monday night game, ESPN had Sunday night football, and Sunday night football wasn't the big game. It was Monday night football.
Really?
Always. Yes, with Al Michaels. So there you go.
Interesting. Was Madden on that broadcast?
Not yet. Because he worked for all four networks first.
Oh, okay.
So he starting out with CBS, and then he went to Fox when they got their pickup, and then he joined Al Michaels in 2000, in the early 2000s at ABC, and then when they lost the contract at NBC, then they moved over there. Obviously.
All right. So, but he was talking about after game, and he goes, "Hey, stop calling us underdogs." He's like, "We just proved we're not underdogs. We're legit." And I was like, "All right, well, I guess I have to stop saying the Bengals are underdogs. I can't go against my guy Joe Burrow."
Right.
So, yeah, and I think it was a really interesting conversation, and I brought it up on the podcast I recorded. Once you listen to it, you see what I mean. I was talking about quarterbacks. It's like there's that top tier of Mahomes, Rodgers, Brady, and then right underneath, the guys skimming that conversation are like Allen, Herbert, Lamar, and Burrow. And it's like, is there really... Those guys are all like pushing it, and what's impressive about that is those are all AFC guys, and they're all young. I'm like, the AFC really... we talked about how they're the young guns and the NFC's the old boys.
Right.
Well, some of those old boys might be going, like, I think Rodgers might flip to the AFC, which we're going to talk about later. And then, Brady, I don't think's retiring. I do think Brady's come back one more year. He's going to want one more big run. But, wouldn't put that out of the question. And so I just think it's interesting that the NFC, like, who's going to be the new top dog? Whereas the AFC, it's pretty cut and dry. It's just, the Ravens next... Eventually, I do think we're going to get a Lamar Super Bowl run within the next, 5 years. Maybe 3 years. But it feels like it's in the cards. Like, that team is going to click at some point.
That team's not clicking after they fire your defensive coordinator that had a very good defense.
True.
That's not the problem.
No.
The problem was the offense, and Harbaugh's
They have no receivers.
And Harbaugh's reliance on analytics for anything. Any close call.
It's true, and they extended Harbaugh.
I know.
Yeah. But overall, I'm just saying, I feel bad for the Titans, honestly, because it's like, now what do you... Like, this team is... Everything's peaking but quarterback with this team. They're like the Niners, but instead of overcoming the quarterback woes, they fell into it. And so, when you're the Titans, do you draft Desmond Ridder if he's on the board in the second round? Or Malik Willis?
The
Like,
Steelers are looking at Desmond Ridder.
that's fine. Hopefully the Panthers can get Pickett, and they can take Ridder, and then everybody's happy. The Steelers can have another guy from Ohio.
Hey, worked out pretty well last time.
Yes, it did. So, I think that'd be interesting. But yeah, what do you think, Quinn?
Well, before I'm just trying to pet the cat, but it's running away. But anyway, I think the Titans were underwhelming. Obviously, Derrick Henry's coming back from injury. We didn't expect a lot from him.
Yeah.
But he did
and
well.
people expected a lot from him, and he still played well. I mean,
right,
honestly.
he played well. So I mean, really. Here's the thing. I'm not even saying that the Bengals were... people are not going to like this take. I don't even say the Bengals played even that great. The Titans just played that horribly in this game. Because let's think about this. First possession. Interception. First possession of the second half. Interception. Last possession of the game. Interception. I don't know what they're doing there, but wouldn't you have thought in that third down in their last drive, you just said, we're going to run it and see if we make it.
Yeah.
That's what I would have done. You got Derrick Henry still, even though he's coming back.
What are you doing, Vrabel?
I know. I don't know what he's doing. He's outsmarting himself. So there goes that. And I just don't know. They're going to have some internal questions they're going to have to ask. I mean, I don't know. Tannehill plays fine. I mean, he has his good moments. He just needs to be a little more consistent.
That's the issue, is like...
Consistency.
It's like the Carson Wentz thing. It's like, do you want to stick with Wentz or do you want to go a different direction? Because the risk you take in a different direction is you end up not actually improving. But then there's also the thing where it's like, the Vikings have the same thing of Kirk Cousins, where it's like, there's that...
Kirk Cousins plays great, though.
Yeah, he does, but then they never get far enough. It's so weird.
I know. Kirky. I take Kirky on my team.
It's a bad position to be in, though.
Would you take Kirk Cousins on your team right now?
Yeah, gladly.
Would you take that $45 million contract, though?
Heck no.
I know.
I would rather...
Aaron Rodgers.
All I want to do is ship off Darnold and be able to get...
All I want to do is have some fun, as Sheryl Crow says. But anyway, go ahead.
I'd like to ship off Darnold to a team that wants a nice backup with a huge contract. And, you know...
I don't want that.
Nobody wants that, but...
I'd like to have Case Keenum, actually, if I could.
Honestly, he's pretty good. And so...
He did almost
He did.
win
He almost did.
Almost won.
That was the skull year.
Yeah.
That was awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then...
In Minneapolis Miracle.
Maybe Ron Rivera for Washington will take Darnold. He seems to like troubled quarterbacks, especially Panthers ones.
He's bringing back Fitzmagic, baby.
Oh, yeah. Frick. I like Heineke, but you and I are both...
He's still there for another year, so don't worry. All right. Enough Titans-Bengals, I guess. We've talked about that enough.
Yep.
But I will say this about the sacks. Bengals O-line better start blocking. It looks as bad as the
Yeah,
Steelers
no, it's
O-line
bad.
out
It's
there.
bad. No, that's
9 sacks?
That's their biggest flaw.
You know, he's the most sacked quarterback in the league this year, Joe Burrow.
Yeah, he gets a tar kicked out of him, and yet he's still, MVP
He looks
level
like,
guy.
He reminds me of Ben when he was young.
Yeah, no.
That's how it goes. All right. Well, Saturday night gave a little interesting flair as well this weekend in whole Green Bay. The 49ers went all the way to Green Bay and beat Green Bay in its own game.
You want to talk about a team that lost itself the game? Let's all take a moment to look at the Green Bay Packers. I mean, 2 plays lost them the game. Let's be realistic.
You tell me more because I was trying to drive home from Columbus.
Blocked field goal.
Yes,
leaves
and
3
blocked
points on the
punt.
board. Blocked punt for a touchdown.
Yep.
You lost 3 points and gave up 7 points. That's what lost you the game. And
yeah, and Matt LaFleur was concerned because he knew the special teams were his weakest link.
the Packers can't ever beat the Niners in the playoffs.
They
In the
can't.
last 10 years,
Aaron
they're
Rodgers
0-4.
can't.
Rodgers can't do it.
Nope.
And on top of that, Shanahan's got LaFleur's number.
He does.
Does he have his old playbook from the Washington and he glances at it?
And not only this, I mean, we can talk about this a little bit later, but not only that, he's got Sean McVay's number. He's won the last 6 matchups against him.
I can't wait for that game because here's the thing with the Niners.
Yep.
They are the classic, we're here. Oh, yeah, Scooby grabbing the shark tail.
But there's no shark.
There's no shark. I don't know what's going on.
Anyway. Captain Shaggy.
I think, speaking of Case Keenum, we get Shaggy. Casey Keenum, it's a joke. Case Keenum.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I got it.
The voice, yeah.
I
All right.
know.
All right, so point is...
I thought you were talking about a football team. I'm like,
Yeah.
Shaggy was the swingiest gymnast in school. You can't be playing football.
So...
Well, not in the first episode ever.
Yeah.
Anyway.
I forgot about
Swings in that window
Yeah.
with the jack.
All right,
Let me just say this. Let me just stop right there. In that first episode, okay?
Yeah.
Remember he's on the ladder and he climbs up. Okay.
Yeah.
And Fred says, "Let me get the jack." So how is that ladder onto the jack then? And Shaggy didn't move. How did that lift? Was it levitated and then just got on the jack?
Scooby-Doo runs out in the air and then looks down and then falls.
I know.
There's cartoon
there
rules.
Are Scooby physics, yes.
Yeah,
I call them
Scooby physics.
So there you go.
It's Bugs Bunny physics. It's the classic. It's you walk out in the sky, but until you realize you're on the
That's
sky,
right.
it doesn't matter.
Well, like Wile E. Coyote.
Yeah, he's like, Roadrunner looks and is like, hey, by the way, and it
Yeah.
goes like, bong, bong, and he looks down, and then... All right, so...
Anyway. I can't do my Daffy Duck. I was trying to do a Daffy Duck voice, so go ahead.
Quinn does Space Jams. Quinn just does the entire Looney Tune cast.
No, I can't do it. I can do a little...
You can kind of get something going on.
Yeah, I can't get it. Yeah. Anyway, talk about the Niners.
So on to the Niners. They're the classic case of we are coached so well, and we have one great player. We made it this far.
Yes.
I mean, like, Debo is awesome for them. He's been
Yes.
insane this year.
He's their best player.
He's their best player. He's one of the best players in the league, like, position-wise, period. And
I don't know what position he really plays. He plays a ball.
yeah, he's that good.
That's the great
He's
thing.
a better version of my guy, Cordarrelle Patterson.
Yes, and he doesn't even throw the ball yet.
Yeah.
Until he starts throwing it. Anyway.
So, I just think that's the Niners' classic case of that. They are the incredibly well-coached, and they have a great player. So my thing of the Niners is, if Trey Lance really becomes a starter this offseason, and they take advantage of Trey Lance's big arm and turn him into a stud, this team might really go on a serious dominant NFC run, because there's not a clear-cut favorite for the future of the NFC, and this Niners could be it. They're a young team. Their average age is actually high, but their best players are all young.
Agreed.
Like Nick Bosa and like
Right.
Debo, and talking Brandon Ayuk.
You drop off Jimmy G, that saves your
And a lot of teams would be happy to have Jimmy G.
I know, my team would.
Yeah, let's not underrate Jimmy G. He's a very good
He wins.
serviceable. He's good. He can win you games. He's never gonna be the guy to save your game. He can't do the Patrick Mahomes 15 seconds left in the fourth quarter.
We're going to talk about that later.
But granted, I don't think anybody could do
there.
that. That was nuts. I mean, Brady could do it, but
I think it's more than Brady.
probably Rodgers. As much as I don't
I'm
want
going to give Brady, Rodgers, Roethlisberger, Elway.
Not right. I meant right now, on this day.
Okay, on this day, but I'm going to say...
Yeah, Elway's going to come out in his
prime.
frickin' wheelchair and throw.
He's not in a wheelchair. He's
No,
in the
but
box.
he's old. He's old, is
Yes.
what I'm saying. Sorry. Yes.
He went to 5 Super Bowls.
That's true.
Only won
one, though.
2. He won 2.
Yeah,
Back
2.
to
Is
back.
it 1? Yep. All right, so what I'm saying, though, is I think every team has a very different identity here, because the Bengals are the why not us mantra. I mean, their coaching, we don't think Zach Taylor's a genius, but he's also not a bad coach either. He's pretty good.
I think he could be better, but anyway.
And I'm saying it's really just a matter of an electric connection between the quarterback and the receivers,
Agreed.
taking advantage of the team they have, and the defense stepping up, and Joe
Yes.
Mixon finally being healthy.
I don't know how we got in the Bengals from the Niners and the Packers.
Well, I'm saying every team has a different identity. The Chiefs are the guys who have been here before, but they look
Yes.
more flawed than the before.
Yes.
And then the Rams are on paper, this should be the ultimate team, but it doesn't always click. But when
Right.
it does, they look awesome.
They do.
So I think it's very interesting. Every team is different.
Yep.
And that's going to lead to a really fun NFC and AFC title game. But for the Packers, you and I are going to talk later about what's going to go on with them. But I'm really glad they're out of there, because I didn't want to see that go on any longer. I was sick of that.
All I know is you can't take on a ghost sword with a stick of liverwurst.
Yes, that's true.
Okay?
Aaron Rodgers needs that advice from
He
Scooby-Doo.
does, and Scooby-Doo just thinks that sandwich is delicious from it. But anyway, I do think that LaFleur, I don't know what happened in this game. I mean, they should have won this game easily, you know?
Yep.
I don't know. I mean, obviously the special teams mistakes, but still, I mean, the Niners defense is decent. I mean, it's probably top 10, but...
Also update, the Cavs are beating the Bucks by 18. They were down by 10 earlier. Evan Mobley dunked over
picking this game, are we?
Giannis. No. Evan Mobley...
We are right there, so quit talking about it.
Oh, sorry. Evan Mobley dunked
What
over
quarter is
Giannis.
this?
Third. It's
Okay.
basically over, Quinn.
Well, then I guess I'm picking the Cavs then. I know
Yeah, I'm picking the Cavs too, but
Okay.
we'll check at the end of the episode. There we go. It's during the show.
During the show. we're
But
going.
Evan Mobley dunked over Giannis. It
Oh,
was awesome.
really?
This is a great moment for me. It's my favorite athlete.
Over
and
your
granted,
favorite athlete.
well,
Over
Evan
your
Mobley's not my
second favorite
favorite. He's
athlete.
not second favorite. He's not
Over
that
your
high
top
of it.
10 favorite athlete.
He might be in the top 15. Maybe top 20. Because Jared Allen's my Cavs guy.
I hear you.
Now, Jared Allen might be...
Sexton.
No, I'm not the big Sexton guy. That's
Garland?
AJ. It goes, for me, it goes Jared Allen, Evan Mobley, Isaac Okoro, Darius Garland, and no shame on Darius Garland. I love him. It's just I really think Isaac Okoro is underrated. Cedi Osman. No, Lamar Stevens, then Cedi Osman.
What about... Never mind.
Then Lowry. And then, am I forgetting somebody?
What happened to Sexton?
Yeah, Sexton's probably like 8th.
Okay.
He's not even like I love Lamar Stevens. He's underrated.
Who's
But the
coach? I
guy,
know who the coach is.
oh, JB Bickerstaff,
That's what I
coach of
thought.
the
It's
year.
Bickerstaff, yeah.
Now, and here's my thing. One of my
Changed
the
the
guy
game
the guy I
so
didn't
much.
put on the list, even though that he's probably my favorite player on the team, not named Jared Allen, is Kevin Love. Love Kevin Love.
Yes, and he's been consistent. Remember they created the big three?
Oh, he's great.
Other two left.
He's awesome.
He's still there.
He's awesome. I love Kevin Love, but I didn't put him on the list because he's not really a part of this new wave Cavs. He's a carryover.
He is a carryover.
So, but for my all-time favorite Cavs, it's Jared Allen, Kevin Love, and Kyrie Irving. My top three.
Okay.
And then Mark Price and Larry Nance Jr. I love Larry Nance Jr.
I know you're a big Nance fan. That's the thing.
And I like Larry Nance the first too.
Exactly.
I love the Nance family.
Now, are you liking Pete Nance after you saw the night?
Yeah, no, he just lost to Michigan. I don't know.
I don't know.
He missed some clutch free throws. I felt bad for him.
So, anyway, so good for the 49ers.
Nice jerseys.
In the first round. We didn't think they were going to win this time. They did. And
I'm proud of them.
Interesting.
Good.
In the next round. All right, the Sunday afternoon game got very interesting. 6 fumbles total in the game, which was crazy. And down in Tampa Bay, the Rams came out to that 20-3 lead, and then the Bucs came storming back in the end because they blew it. Cam Akers fumbled twice more in the second half. So, what'd you make of that game and the Rams win?
I think it shows that the Rams are definitely a beatable team. It's just a matter of figuring out how to beat them. I know it sounds really dumb and pretty...
That sounds really dumb.
That is really dumb.
It's not dumb.
That's a dumb way of describing
No.
it. But I'm saying there are flaws in the Rams game, and if you can take advantage of those few flaws, you can beat them because they're glaring flaws. Also, go away. Ghost Ship's over. We're moving on to the next episode.
We are moving to the next episode. Now, yep, there it goes. It just takes
That's me, the one with the
Spooky Space Kook.
Yes, Space Kook, one of my favorites.
Really good.
So,
Yeah.
To me, this was the game that proved the Rams probably will lose the Super Bowl to the winner of the AFC title, which I was saying on the podcast the other day, so I don't want to go over that again. But I also think this proves that you can never really count Brady out. And honestly, can you imagine the stories we'd be going on about if Brady would have pulled this off?
I don't want to hear them right now.
That'd be nuts. I'm just saying. I
know.
really don't want Brady to retire. I want him to have one last big year. I want the Bucs to go all out, spend the money, maybe try to get Devontae Adams there.
What do they have?
Well, they're going to probably drop some money. I'm hoping they can make some trades, drop some money, and go get Devontae Adams. Maybe on a one-year deal. Just Devontae, come play with the greatest quarterback of all time. We promise he's better than Rodgers. Everybody knows it. And then Devontae can get a Super Bowl or something. I don't know. That's very fan fiction, what I'm writing right there. But
Fan fiction.
It's some NFL fan service that I'd like to see. But I just want to see Brady make one last run. I don't want him to go out with a divisional loss. Doesn't feel right. But... yeah, I think the Rams, McVay's got the best. This is the best team McVay's ever had, and if he's going to win the Super Bowl, it feels like it's going to be right now. I don't think next year they're going to be as strong.
Right here, right now.
Who sings that one?
I don't know that. I can't remember, but I'm going to have to look it up now.
So
you know that song, don't you?
Yeah. So yeah, that's my thing. Is I feel like if the Rams are winning, it's this year. I don't think they win it next year.
Fat Boy Slim.
Really?
Yes.
What a heck of a name.
Brits.
But I think the next year, the Niners or the Cardinals will probably win the division. Probably the Niners would be my pick. But the Rams got to take advantage while they're here, but I'm worried they're not going to be able to, and this was the game that showed me that.
Oh, Joe Walsh was the writer, by the way, on this song.
Really?
Yes. So anyway, we're going to talk about retirement later on, so I'm going to shut up about Brady for now. But I do think I did see, and I will shut up about that point too. So anyway, the Bucs, they did not play to win that game real well. They got lucky to even get back in the game because Cam Akers kept turning the ball over.
Yeah, the Rams. We haven't. I mean, these are.
Think about this.
A lot of these games was the other team blowing what they had.
Right. So that's what she said. But anyway, I hope you like that one, Chad. But anyway, so the Bucs. Okay, let's think about this. So the Rams, at one point, they could have been if they weren't stupid.
Yeah.
Okay, they fumbled at the end of the half. They could have went up 27-3 there, and then first drive of the game, they fumbled away again.
Yeah.
And then that makes it. I mean, that could have made it 34-3 at the worst.
Yeah.
I mean, it probably should have really been, or even that, it would have been 26-3. Still, that's another possession you're up. So you're leaving the door open for Brady, which they all knew.
He's Brady. I mean, he can come back.
Yes, and he got now. I'm going to say that he had a lot of luck there. Let's give him some luck there on the turnovers and when they happen and blah blah blah. But anywho, we're having some technical difficulties.
Sorry, the captions turned off, so I had to bring him back.
Technical difficulties with the Scooby-Doo. But we're back on the go shift again.
Yep.
So we'll watch it again.
Yeah, we'll just run through that one again. Do you want me to skip to the next one? I
We
can
can
fix it.
skip the next one.
Yeah, I'll fix this. Sorry.
We're
You
gonna
keep
skip
talking about.
Okay.
You move us on to the next topic.
Anyway,
Next game. Next game.
Next game already? Okay, we're done talking about. I didn't even talk about
did
the
you
Rams.
have something more to say about the Rams?
Yes, I want to talk about the Rams.
Then you keep talking about it.
Okay, I want to talk about the Rams. Okay, so
You want to talk about the mail? We can talk about the mail.
Okay,
All right.
we're talking about the Rams. All right, I thought Stafford played a hell of a game.
Okay.
He was probably his best game I've seen him play all year. I mean, let's look at the box score here. Hold on, the box score is loading. Stafford, 28 of 38, 366, 2 tutties, and his rating was 121.2. Can't argue against that. So, I'm just going to say that I expect more from him there. Again, this is a rivalry, and the 49ers have beat the Rams both times this season. Hard to beat a team 3 times.
It is.
So that's what I'm going to say there.
But there's also the counter argument, which is they don't have their number, but I'm with you. I do think the Rams are going to win.
I hope so.
Are you? Well, I guess say the big finish. I'll talk about it later.
Okay. And the finale of divisional weekend, the best game we
What
had.
a finale.
And I'm still pissed about this game.
Yes.
I don't give a damn.
Yes.
So, here, the Chiefs-Bills. Okay, so let's just read the readout here. And this was just crazy. I just
Also,
don't know what's
45
going
over
on.
45 million viewers. It's like one of the most viewed NFL games in the last
Yeah.
5 years.
Yeah.
It definitely was. I mean, it was amazing.
I don't know what...
One of my friends, like, we all take a moment to realize that we watched, like, one of the best football games in NFL history the other day, and I was like, yeah,
Right.
it was an awesome game.
Right.
And one of the best quarterbacks in NFL history was in it, and his name was not Josh Allen. It was Mahomes. What a game. People keep telling me, it's like, hey, Mahomes didn't win in that game. The Bills' defense on that last drive won in the game. And I was like, well, I think it's a two-way deal. Two-way street.
Yes, we can talk about that. So the readout, so we had... Kansas City was up 23-21. They kick a field goal after Tyreek's punt return. 26-21 now, after 23-21.
Yes.
Then the Bills, long drive, touchdown, 29-26. Kansas City, quick drive, touchdown, 33-29. Bills, quick drive, touchdown, 36-33. And then, I don't know what the Bills are doing. What are they doing here? I'm going to tell you this. I texted Ryan this, and I'm sitting there watching this game with my dad.
Yeah.
Okay? And we got the 13 seconds left. The Bills are about to kick it off. And I said, what are they doing? You need to be kicking it short.
Squib kick.
I wouldn't have squibbed it because you know why? Because that could end up being short. It could have been closer than what they than what a short kick would have been returned to. Plus, no time could have ran off the clock. They just could have just covered it up. So, I would have kicked it short to about the 5 and made them run it.
Yeah, and let's say that knocks off 3 seconds, maybe 5 seconds, right?
Yeah.
5 seconds, but they're closer. Then they only get one play.
Yeah, that's exactly right.
Now, granted, I do believe the Chiefs could have got it, but you don't know.
That's what the mathematician says.
Yeah.
So there you go.
I'm with you.
Combination of a mathematician
I think
and a
Sean
magician.
McDermott really
He's a
should have scripted it,
mathematician.
but I think they were too busy being like, oh my gosh, and they just lost. What I loved is, and did I send you the Mahomes heart rate thing?
No.
Look at this. This is wild, Quinn. All right, let me get it pulled up. So basically, I saw on Bleacher Report. I don't know where they got this, but this is Mahomes' heart rate from the game. It doesn't.
Who's tracking this? Does he just have a band on there?
I'm assuming he's got something on there to track for like next gen stats or whatever. The point is, look at this is the fourth quarter right here.
Uh-huh.
His heart rate goes down when he's in the game. He calmed down when he got into the game. That's cold blooded.
I don't know what's
That's nuts.
I mean, it's crazy. Heart rates are crazy.
That's some Kobe Bryant stuff right there. That's wild.
I was going to say, as a normal person here, and just being a runner, and I'm sure you had the same things too. Whenever I'm resting, my heart rate.
Oh, same, yeah.
I mean, even though he's running around, I'm not saying his heart rate's obviously going to go up when he's starting to run around, blah blah blah.
Yeah.
When he's in the game, just standing there and resting, his heart rate's probably getting down. I mean, mine get down to like 45. If I'm just sitting.
It had him on there like 45. Yeah.
Yeah, that's just crazy. Like when you're an athlete,
I've had low like 40.
Yeah,
I've had
crazy.
40. I think my resting is like a 45.
Yeah, it's
So.
nuts how heart rates are. But anyway, not trying to say my heart.
You
rate
don't
is
want
the
it
greatest
too
Patrick
low,
Mahomes.
but it's good to have it relatively low.
Right, because then it shows you're resting and you're not overexerting yourself.
Yep.
The old OE, overexertion. But anyway, so I mean, I don't know what the Bills were doing. I don't know what they were doing in the first play either on defense. Why would you give them so much cushion? You rushed. Okay.
Yeah,
it
didn't make sense.
This doesn't make sense. So you rush 4, and then you drop everybody back 30 yards. What are you doing? Are you dumb? You should have rushed one.
No, they were not doing their best
Because
job.
you know what? If they just would have rushed one, even Patty Mahomes, if he was running around, would take a lot of time off more than Tyreek on a little screen.
Yeah.
I don't understand what they were nuts. They were nuts. But anyway, you got any thoughts? I know you got thoughts.
Yeah, I talked
Other
about
than
it a
you
good
telling me
amount.
that
I
Mahomes-
talked about a good amount
I know
on
you did.
my pod. So I don't want to say too much of the same stuff.
That's fine.
But I mean, I do think the Chiefs are playing like the best team in football, and I think the Bengals still have that chance to win the Super Bowl, though, just because mojo sometimes wins over talent in the
agree.
playoffs.
It does happen.
Like the best team, it's like Bill Simmons said before, the best team doesn't always win the title. Actually, a good amount of time, the second, third, fourth best team does.
Uh-oh. Pilot to co-pilot.
Yeah, pilot, co-pilot, Scooby and Shaggy.
They're dressed up as pilots. Whereas the Spooky Space Cook finds them. They just got shot out of the cockpit when Scooby released the life raft. But anyway.
I like how they made this episode, the background's really cool because it's like a reddish
It is.
brown.
The original ones are so good on the background. I don't know how
it looks
they
like
did
painted. It's great.
It does. You should follow this on Twitter. I know it's not your personal Twitter, but it's called Scooby-Doo History. You should follow that.
I will.
Yeah, so they
I probably
post a
will.
lot of still frames and things and talks about.
Well, now that we're talking about Scooby-Doo on the podcast, it'd fit Sort of Sports Podcast to follow it, so,
Yes, it would. It definitely does. All right. So, enough about NFL football. All right. Yesterday, it came out that the longtime coach of the New Orleans Saints, Sean Payton, is not retiring, but he's leaving his post. And Sean Payton won one Super Bowl with Drew Brees, and I think he did not like it without Drew Brees there. So
I think there's a very interesting case building. If I want to get really conspiracy theorist, you ready?
Are you talking about Jerry Jones bringing them in to get rid of McCarthy?
Well, I think that's very likely, too. Peyton is a big enough name, and people, I'm not a huge Peyton guy, but that man knows how to work an offense.
Yep.
He's got 100 tricks in his bag to try to win a game. He'll do any trick in the book.
I agree.
He'll, fake fourth downs. He'll do screens. He'll do RPOs. He'll just do basic shotgun. He'll do a bunch of different things to try to win.
Yep.
And that experimentation leads to huge losses, like a lot of the Saints later Drew Brees' career, but that also leads to big wins, like some of the main Super Bowl run they went on.
Yes.
So, and that also leads to him taking advantage of teams that aren't as good. Like this year's Saints team did much better than they should have because he took advantage of a defense that was good, and he just, pulled every trick out of the book to make Jameis play well or, Taysom Hill. So, I do think if I'm Jerry Jones and I look at this Cowboys team, which I don't think is really going to get a lot better talent-wise, the only way to step up is to get a better coach, and I'm not a big Mark McCarthy guy to begin with. Sean Payton's a great option. And you can just demote McCarthy to a DC or OC.
I don't think McCarthy wants that. I think he probably will leave.
Well, here's my big conspiracy theory.
Tell it.
He wants another big quarterback. How about him and Aaron Rodgers link up in Denver, where they need a head coach?
That's the problem.
Okay.
Ready?
Yep.
He's he's still got to get paid out through his contract through 2024 by the Saints.
Oh.
So he can't go anywhere except getting reinstated by the Saints until 2024, end of the 2024 season.
So how does that work then?
Well, it's a mess.
That's weird. Can they can they shred that contract? How does that work?
I don't know.
Because if he goes to them and says, hey, we had this contract, but I'm willing for you to just not pay me anymore. I don't want my money. I would rather coach the Broncos now and throw away this $24 million. Because I guaranteed if they're saying, oh, you're saying we don't have to pay you for not working for us? Cool.
Or, worst case scenario, he says, okay, reinstate me, trade me to the Broncos. Like John Gruden got traded to the... I don't know why I'm bringing him up because he should be dead in the past. But
yeah,
John Gruden trading, he got traded from the Raiders to the Bucks. So...
You mean the Bucks or the Raiders?
Bucks to the Raiders, whatever it was.
Maybe that's the way you do it. And then the Saints actually benefit from it. Mm-hmm. And the Broncos would have to give up it probably wouldn't be a huge package.
Yeah.
But they could give up maybe the Saints like Drew Lock or Bridgewater. Maybe they want Bridgewater back. Mm-hmm. You give them Bridgewater and maybe a second-round pick. That's a decent package, honestly. And then you're taking that contract off their hands. You're getting a quarterback you like. And then the Saints. I do think if Rodgers is going anywhere, if he's leaving Green Bay, which I do think there's a really good chance he does, he's going to go to the Broncos. But I know you're saying don't talk about this right now, or you're saying Pittsburgh.
I'm saying signing Pittsburgh right there.
I think Broncos is a exceptionally good option. It is literally Buccaneers 2020 setup for Rodgers. It is.
It is. He's got good receivers.
Good receivers, like a great offense that needs a quarterback, and a decent line with defense that continues to get better. With it was really good this year, and it can be amazing next year. Bradley Chubb's awesome.
I know.
The whole Chubb family, I'm a fan of.
Elway knows what he's doing. So
for once.
Well, he knew what he's doing. He was playing. Too.
Well, no, I'm saying for once is like GM. The last 5 years, the Broncos have been a bit of a mess, and I mean, if they really pull this Rodgers thing off, I mean, hubba hubba, they're gonna be a hot team.
I know. Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know if Rodgers. I don't know where Rodgers is going. So that's the thing.
I don't think Rodgers does either yet.
I don't think he does either. I don't think he knows where he wants to go. So that's the problem. I think Sean Payton leaving it just shows. And I mean, I'm not concerned about this with Mike Tomlin. Obviously, Bill Belichick overcame it, but it just shows the cratering of an atmosphere without a Hall of Fame quarterback that has been there for over a decade and a half. So I think that's what's interesting. He saw that. He had that year. He didn't like how that environment was, and he said, I'm getting out of here because I don't want to search for another quarterback, and I'm done.
Hopefully that doesn't happen to Tomlin. I
know. Hopefully it doesn't happen to Tomlin. And obviously Bill Belichick had that awful year, first losing the season in forever in New England last year, and then this year he turned it around.
I think next year they're going to be a legitimate Super Bowl contender if they make some good offseason moves.
Possible.
I mean, that division is getting better though every year.
Well, now the Dolphins, they don't know what they're doing either.
Okay, that's true. The Dolphins will fall apart, but the Jets are going to be better next year.
Hopefully.
I mean, they made some decent strides in the last part of the season, and then obviously the Bills are the Bills. So you always got to keep them in.
I like the Bills.
I'm not as big on the Bills as you are, but I'm not going to deny they're talented.
I agree. So, anyway, this past weekend as well, or past week, Dale Earnhardt Jr. capped off his NASCAR career after he's been retired for a few seasons by being inducted into the NASCAR Hall of Fame. So, how do you remember Dale Earnhardt Jr.'s career, Ryan?
Well, I don't watch a ton of NASCAR. My grandpa loves it. So I feel like I could get a much better...
So does my grandpa.
Yeah, so maybe I think it's an older guy thing, honestly.
I agree.
And
I can see that. It's generation.
I think that generation was more big on that type of stuff. But... yeah, I know. This is a great... I love this part in this episode when he's like, well, Scooby, throw the key out the window.
No, he says put it in a safe
Oh, yeah, put it in a safe place. Throws out the window. Well, then they cover up the doors, so then they run out of the window to go grab the key to unlock the door. Even though they could just go out... now they're out of the window, they could just run away. But no, they have to get the key and unlock the door.
The best is right here, Scooby going... Shaggy says, quick, Scooby, where's the key? And Scooby says, the key says, he's pointing out the window. And then they do it. And then
they go and get it from the window and to go unlock the door.
My question is, what is this ghost doing? He just pushed the desk away from the door. They do it all the way out here. Why isn't he at the window blocking him from going back in?
I mean, they're dumb. I mean, and then Scooby turns around and taunts them. It's...
Anyway, so Dale Earnhardt Jr. Okay, I will admit, I was actually, when Earnhardt Jr. was racing, I wasn't a huge NASCAR fan, but I would watch NASCAR.
Really?
Because my grandpa, huge collection. He's a big Reds collector, but he's a big collector also of race car. Actually, they're not really Hot Wheels, but they're model race cars of Earnhardt Sr. What he drove.
Yeah. Okay.
And then Earnhardt Jr. as well. So. Anywho,
I know he's one of the best.
Most. I mean, well, he really didn't even. I mean, Earnhardt Sr. was way better than Earnhardt Jr.
I knew that too. I knew that Sr. was better, but I knew Earnhardt Jr. was good. And
he was the most popular. I think he's still the most popular NASCAR driver without even being in the league.
Junior?
Yeah.
He's one of the few. If you said NASCAR drivers, I could name him and Danica Patrick. That's it.
Not even Jimmy Johnson?
No, that doesn't even come to my mind.
What about Jeff Gordon?
I know them when you say them, but I can't name them off the top of my head.
Okay, well,
those are the only two people off the top of my head. Because I remember Danica Patrick for the is she still the only girl one? There are more girl ones.
No, I'd have to look it up.
But for the longest time, she was the only female one.
Yes.
And I remember that was a big deal. And then and Bubba Wallace. I know Bubba Wallace, obviously.
Yes, and he won Daytona, I believe.
Yeah.
Or something. He won Bubba. It's loading in. Man, this internet is light and day after down here. So here we go.
It's what?
Night and day.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, there were multiple of them back in the day.
Oh, okay. Well, for a bit there, she was like one of the only ones I remember. So,
Yeah.
was she the only one, or she's the only one I was aware of?
Yes,
It's very
this is
possible
not-
I
this
was
is on.
I was the only one. She was the only one I was aware of.
This is probably the one they always were because it was the most modern.
Yeah, that's probably what it was. It was just she was the only female NASCAR driver I ever heard of, and I remember thinking that was cool as a little kid. So I thought I know who she is.
There's a scattering of them before it also.
Okay, and then I know who Dale Earnhardt Jr. is, and then I knew his dad raced, and then I know Bubba Wallace.
There you
So that's
go.
really it, though.
See, there you go. I mean, don't you? Okay, so you know the movie Cars.
I love movie cars.
Okay, well, all those are most of those are all just playoff.
Yeah, it's true.
They are.
Like
Dale Earnhardt Jr. voices himself in there in the old number 8 before he changed to 88.
really?
Yes.
Huh.
All right. It's okay. I just about this love about cars. Let's think about this. Okay, so one of the announcers is Daryl Cartrip.
Yeah.
In honor of Daryl Waltrip. Okay, and then it's not Brent Musburger. It's Brent Mustangburger. And what's even better? And it's got the chin to prove it. It's not Jay Leno. It's Jay Limo, baby. Jay Limo. So that's all I'm going to say about that.
They got all the good car puns.
They do. I don't know who came up with them, but that's all it was. So.
Somebody at Pixar's whole job for a year was like, car puns, we need it. And he's like, all right.
Yep.
I'll sit down. What about this guy that yells Kachiga?
That's right. Chick X.
Chick Hicks.
But-
He's the best.
Annoying.
Well, he's funny to me.
Yeah, I guess. Tongue in cheek. But anyway, yes, Junior's career was great. Most popular driver. I mean, he drove his brand, and obviously he was racing in the same race when his father died on turn 3. So I mean that has to be emotional, and this is a connection to his father. So I think, and he's gonna be remembered for. I mean, he was a above average racer. He didn't win that much, but he was there. He consistently was in the top 10, and that's all we're gonna say about that for me. So, all right, last headline of the day. The National Baseball Hall of Fame, Major League Baseball Hall of Fame, just announced, just had their Hall of Fame votes yesterday. Yes, yesterday, or 2 days ago, and in the last year of eligibility, Barry Bonds, Sammy Sosa, and Roger Clemens were all rejected. So, are you shocked by that result?
A little bit. I think it's really interesting. I see people with very passionate opinions on both sides this all the time. I think the more passionate side is usually the no, they don't deserve it. They cheated. Mm-hmm. But I think the people that are usually like, well, I mean, look at it. The argument with Bonds is the most interesting because it's if he retires after playing with the Pirates, he makes the Hall of Fame. Which is before he did performance-enhancing drugs. As far as we know, which is the assumed assumption is that was how it's always been before he went to the Giants. Yep. So I think there's a really weird case there because Bonds deserves it, but the PEDs obviously taint his career. So I think it's interesting. I've talked to people that it's actually honestly it's like that. Like 30-year-old range are like the people, like the guys who like watched Bonds growing up on the Pirates are always like, yes, he completely deserves it. Whereas more of the older people I talk to or younger people are like, oh no, he cheated, he used steroids. Mm-hmm. So I think it's those people that watched Bonds in the moment a lot and were like looking up to him and have that like parasocial relationship essentially, believe that he belongs. And then a lot more of the stat people believe he belongs because if you look at the numbers. And he didn't take roids, the one before he took roids, then it's like, it's still really impressive. So, I think it's honestly one of those where the people that are really big into baseball, like there's more statistics, newer age people that are really deep into baseball think he should be, and the people that are really into baseball and are more the old school, I like RBIs and home runs, are the ones that don't think he should be in it. So I think there's a really weird culture clash that goes on here.
I could see that.
And I am surprised because I felt like the MLB would recognize that talent. And I mean, I understand, I actually, big Sammy Sosa guy, one of my favorite on the Cubs, but I get the whole thing. And he did a lot more cork in the bat and all that. He was a lot more a cheater. And I always felt like he was a fun personality. But yeah, I completely get that. And I get the Sosa one a lot. I get the Clemens one too. But Bonds is the one that sticks out because there's an argument that he's the greatest player in baseball history. Like when you talk about the best baseball players of all time, he's always on the list. He's always top 5. And some people might just leave him right outside the top 5, but he's always in the conversation. And that's impressive. And the fact that there are guys in the Hall of Fame that aren't even in the top 25 best players of all time. And that's fine. That's fine.
Yes, and it happens.
But it's just a weird situation because it's like, yes, your career is tainted by that fact, but if you look at the talent without that, he still deserved it. So in my opinion, he should have made it, but I'm not a MLB Hall of Fame voter.
Right.
So I don't have a vote. I'm just a man who speaks on my podcast with Quinn Maseko. So what does Quinn Maseko think?
Quinn Maseko thinks, well, I
tough
see
luck, brother.
I agree with the side that
I should have worn my Giants cap instead of the A's cap for this episode. I always wear a cap. I'm wearing the A's. I've been wearing a lot of the black Mets hat.
Let's also show. Let's get this visual for the viewers. Ryan is draped in green and yellow tonight, and now he's got his, like he said, his A's cap on, but he's got his North Dakota State University.
Yeah, I gotta rep it. We won the national title.
Which matches. So I'm just gonna say it there, and we're gonna leave it.
I really started to like. I have ESPN Plus now, so I can watch.
There, didn't he?
What? Yeah, he went to college there.
I never did turn you on to it.
No, it was actually watching Trey Lance highlights a couple of years back, and I was like, it was when he got drafted last year. I was like, North Dakota State stuff's kind of cool, and then now I have ESPN Plus, I can watch some FCS stuff, and I was like, they're really kind of fun to watch, and they got a nice stadium. I mean, they're kind of cool. They're kind of a cool team to like. For FCS, they're pretty dominant, but like it's cool that it's out in North Dakota.
I agree. There's nothing else in North Dakota.
Except football, apparently. But what are you dividing?
I'll tell you in a second later.
All right. Well, then, sorry, he was on his calculator. I was confused. But, yeah, so what do you think about Bonds?
Okay, so here's the thing. I see both sides. I see, okay, they cheated, yes, blah, blah. But here's the thing, too, and let's just add Pete Rose to this one, too, since he's banned. Okay?
Well, Pete Rose should be in there.
So your Hall of Fame does not include, even though there are PEDs performed, does not include the player that had the most home runs ever, the player that went 60-plus home runs in 3 different seasons.
Most RBIs, too? No, he's not most RBIs, but Pete Rose, most hits.
Yes, Pete Rose has the most hits, and then Roger Clemens, who has 7 Cy Youngs.
Yeah.
So what kind of Hall of Fame is it if you don't have some of those people in there? I mean, obviously they're never going to be eligible again. Pete Rose has never been able to be eligible, so, which I think, agree, yes, that's one of my big things. Maybe when I run for president one day, I'm going to say, we got to get Pete Rose in here.
That's going to be your campaign slogan.
Pete Rose.
Put Rose in the Hall of Fame. Put Pete in.
Uh-huh. He'll be 100 then, so we'll just see what happens. But anyway, okay, by the way, speaking of Pete Rose, here's this video. I'm going to send it to you sometime when it comes to my Facebook memories. Okay. But it's with Frank Thomas, Alex Rodriguez, and Pete Rose. They're all talking about hitting, talking about differences in how, and Pete Rose is talking about how he was never in a, you never say you're in a slump and blah, 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 and how he changed just small things instead of his swing or whatever. Yeah. So I'm going to send it to you sometime. But anyway.
I really like Frank Thomas. He's like the Shaq of baseball.
Yes, because he also does the commercials.
Yeah, because he's a big funny guy like that, yeah.
So, anyway.
I'd like to see MLB. The MLB, like, they do a really good job marketing. They're not really good job. They are starting to do a good job of marketing their players. Like, they're finally getting, because the NBA, hands down, has the best marketing team out of the big 3. Mm-hmm. They market their players exceptionally well. I mean, people know who Paul George is, and he's not even a top 10 player.
Right.
And people, like, know even, like, the joke players. Like, everybody knows who Taco Fall is. Mm-hmm. Even though he's like a joke player. Like, people know these guys. For the NFL, there's like one guy like that, and I don't think as many people know who Trace McSorley is as people know Taco Fall.
Well, nobody wants to know that anyway.
Yeah, because, I mean, like, the jokes about Trace McSorley aren't as big, and I'm saying the NFL doesn't really market players, they market rivalries and teams. And they're starting to market players more, like Josh Allen, Mahomes. And, you know, now that Brady's off the Patriots, they market Brady a lot more as a singular player.
Right.
And I'm glad they're doing it. And, like, Lamar, I think, is a great marketing opportunity that they don't use enough. And I like that. I think, like, Derrick Henry should be on a lot more commercials than he is, except that just one Old Spice. Because, like, and I think he's in, like, a Clorox, like some cleaning ad I saw.
I don't know.
But the point is, the NFL really needs to branch out and use their players more. Because that's what Adam Silver does. That's
Matt Ryan's doing Tide.
Yeah. I mean, the NBA is cool with the fact...
Ice-T.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't know who the other Ice is, but anyway.
But that's what...
Vanilla Ice, yeah.
Yeah. So that's actually a good one. And of course Baker does good stuff.
Progressive.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I just think with
More
the
commercials
part of it was the NBA is they're the most recognizable because you're constantly seeing their face on the court. Whereas NFL, they've got helmets on a lot of time.
Right.
Well,
It's obstructive.
yes, exactly. And MLB, they've always got hats on, but really the MLB you see their face a good amount of time too.
Right.
So what I'm trying to make my point here is that the NBA is okay with the fact that a lot of kids in the younger generation, might have a favorite team, but they're a lot more concerned with favorite players.
Right.
And they're cool with that. They're cool with the fact that you like 5 different players on different teams.
Right.
And you might say you like one team, but overall you really just like I like John Moran a lot.
Right.
I like Giannis. I like Jared Allen. Those guys are all 3 of my favorite players of all time. I don't know if they crack all. Probably they would. I really like those guys. But Luka Doncic, I really like. But I don't really buy Luka stuff or whatever. But I'm saying there are some people that would, I know guys who have 5 different teams' jerseys because they just like different players. And the NBA is cool with that, whereas the NFL is very big on you like your team and this, and it's that's cool and all. I like it when people have a favorite team. I have a favorite team, but I also think there's something to be said where you're going to get more marketing opportunities and more viewership when you market your players and be yeah, your favorite team might be the Packers, but it's cool to like Mahomes.
Right.
So I just think,
I hear you.
And the MLB doesn't do that at all. Frank Thomas, great opportunity for that. The NHL is starting to catch that now that they do the TNT with Wayne Gretzky now and all that, and it's his birthday, I think, or something like that. His birthday came on recently.
Well, might have been recently, but we didn't talk about it.
And I think we talked about Wayne Gretzky at one point. This was a while back though.
We did.
Because I was yeah, definitely hockey goat. But
Agreed.
TNT, NHL is actually starting to be on prime.
Or Gordie Howe. Hey.
Is it his birthday?
It's Wayne Gretzky's birthday. We're going to just add him in on there.
All right.
Screw Vince Carter.
No, I love Vince Carter. No!
No! He's written off for Gretzky.
No, just do double. Just do double, please,
okay,
please.
Fine.
I actually really like Vince Carter. I had stuff to say about him.
Go.
So, TNT does that now with the hockey, and I think that's great for the NHL. They're starting, because the NHL is the least big, it's not even part of the big 3. It's the 4th. It is the definitive 4th. And I really like hockey, but I don't watch it a ton on TV. But now they got the new show with Gretzky, I pop in and just watch them talk with Gretzky, and I see clips of it. The MLB doesn't have a show like that. The NFL doesn't have a show like that. The NBA on TNT is the gold standard of that show.
Yes, it's won an Emmy.
Yeah, and it's an amazing show.
Yes.
People who don't even watch the NBA watch that show for those guys and what they're going to say about stuff. And it brings in viewership because even if you're not watching it live, you see a clip later and you're like, oh, Shaq and that. And it's they built that show so well. That's why there's a documentary on it. And I mean, everyone should be looking to have a show like that where you get your Hall of Famers to sit down and talk about these new guys. And the NFL coverage doesn't really do that. They just have Terry Bradshaw before a game be like, well, I really like the Steelers in this one, so I'm taking them.
How about this one?
That's all it goes down to.
Win $100,000 of Terry's money.
Yeah, that's all they do. And I'm like, why don't we just get 4 guys to sit around, talk about the pregame, and do halftime? Instead of having 6 guys who all get to say 2 things. Just make a team of 3 or 4.
People. That's the problem.
I hate the way they do that. Just get a team of 3 or 4 and just let them run it.
Yeah,
for college. Just get Reggie Bush and someone else for one game, and then 2 guys for another game, and maybe 3 guys for
break it up.
Break it up. That's more interesting because they can have more legitimate conversations than just, well, I think it's this. I think it's this. Well, I think this. There's not any banter. It's just my thought, your thought, my thought. All right, kick it.
Yep.
And that's it.
I hear you.
I need more gumble.
It's JB anyway.
All right.
Yep. James Brown. You like James Brown.
I actually love James Brown.
I mean, okay, out of the ones, the halftime show runners, Tirico.
Okay.
We're not counting ESPN because we all know their list.
Yeah.
Tirico, JB, or Kurt Menefee. Which one are you taking?
For the halftime shows.
The halftime show. Who's leading the best?
Definitely not Kirky, right? I don't know. You tell me
Kurt
your
Menefee?
favorite. Yeah.
No, it's JB.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think it is.
Cool.
Yeah, it is
I like
JB.
it.
I do like
think
JB.
he runs,
Yeah.
and he runs through the cast well.
Yeah.
Too.
No, I like
That's
that.
a good room because you got Phil, Boomer, Coach
Yes.
Howard, Nate.
And I like Boomer. Boomer.
I'm not a big Boomer.
I think Boomer's all right.
Okay.
Now, you know who I really like is
Romo.
yes,
Which
I love
we all
Romo.
do.
But The fastest 2 minutes or whatever it is.
Oh, with Boomer.
Yes, I love that. I love it. I think it's great.
I know.
It's very old school, and I like it.
Sometimes.
I understand that, but it's something the NFL doesn't have, which is like fun. The NFL doesn't like to be fun a lot, and I think that's good that he does that. No, Romo's best. He should just do every game.
Well, we can't do that. But anyway, all right.
And if you say the Romo report you don't like it, well then you're wrong because he's the best.
Yes,
so.
agreed. All right, time for toss-up here.
All right.
Where 2 men enter, 1 man leaves, wins, goes home, and sits in his recliner. But here we are today. All right, what's first? Who has the bigger chance of retiring this offseason? Aaron Rodgers or Tom Brady?
I think Rodgers. Actually, yeah, because I think with Rodgers, to me, it's I'm leaving or I'm retiring. I don't think he wants to run another year with the Packers. Now, granted, he doesn't really accept my calls because I'm not a big fan of his. So I haven't got a chance to talk with him. I do like Devontae Adams a lot, actually. Like I don't really like Packers, but I have a lot of respect for Devontae Adams. He's amazing. So I just think for him it'd be like, well, Devontae, I don't really want to run this back. And Devontae's like, all right, well, I'm gonna bounce. I don't want to be here anymore either. And then he's like, all right, cool. Robert, you heading out? And Tanyan's like, yeah, I'm bouncing. And he's like, all right, see you boys. I'm out. And he retires. Now he just said that he's not gonna pull a Favre and retire and come back after a year. I do think he's out, but if he looks around and says, I don't really feel like playing anywhere but the Packers, but the thing is I'm sick of the Packers, he might just retire. And whereas Brady, I think Brady knows he wants to go out in a Super Bowl, and I think he knows that if he plays one more year and he really and he says to Bruce, we're winning it, Bruce straps on the bomb pack, and they get the team together. His bomb protection suit. It's like such a suit he wears.
I don't know. Brief Scooby-Doo break here before I talk.
Yeah.
Because here comes Scooby-Doo.
The Green Ghost, right?
Yes, here comes Scooby-Doo in a suit, gonna play this organ here.
Yeah, he's all jazzed up.
Feed the organ.
Yeah.
Get the clue? F-E-E-D. Feed.
Ah.
Yes. But anyway, Shaggy's gotta watch his swinging wall. Enough of that. But I gotta, okay. This is one of the greatest episodes. I love it. And actually,
Well, it's all the classic when they're in the haunted house. That's always great.
Right. And, Supernatural. You know the show Supernatural?
Yeah, I know the show.
Okay, they did a crossover. Scooby Natural. This is the episode they crossed over into.
Oh, that's awesome.
It's very good.
That's
yes.
awesome.
So you got the.
That's a good episode, The Green Ghost.
It is, yes. And you know what? I was gonna let you know that those ratings for Supernatural they went up 1 million people just because of that, just because of the crossover.
Well, I bet everyone likes Scooby-Doo. It's the most successful Hanna-Barbera property.
It is. I mean, it's the longest lasting one.
And everybody likes Flintstones, Jetsons. No one really goes out of their way to watch it. Whereas Scooby-Doo, people go out of their way to watch. He's that iconic.
Exactly.
And everybody knows the whole gang by name. That's impressive when you've got a cast of 5 characters everybody knows. Boom, boom, boom.
Yeah,
all the names. And how they act. Yeah. Because they all have very distinct looks. They all have very distinct personality. The way they wrote them is very smart.
Yes. Very good. Very good. Anyway, I'm going to give a bigger chance to Brady. And here's the reason why. And I don't count Aaron Rodgers in this first wave because he's too young compared to these old folks. But the old days are over. No Mannings. There's going to be no Ben. No Rivers. No Breeze. Brady's the last one.
No Favre.
And he was way older.
Favre, I know. I'm kidding. But Favre played forever.
Yes, he played. Well, no, he played shorter than Ben.
I guess you're right. It feels like he was at the end of one era and the start of another, so it was weird.
He's right in the middle, yep. So, and the reason I think that Tom Brady, I can see him retiring is Byron Leftwich is leaving. Mm-hmm. Gronkowski looks like he's going to retire again, re-retire. So
again,
and he doesn't like really the locker rooms nowadays they're very loose and not as tight-knit and just focus on football. They're kind of all over the place. So I think that's something that is really driving him away. So
yeah, I just think he wants to go out on something big.
I know.
And I don't blame him.
They all do, but who's going to get a Peyton Manning-like send-off?
Brady?
Or John Elway. I mean, nobody's going to get that. So
apparently he needs to go to Denver. I mean,
that's
the place to do it.
You want it, yeah. So
it's so weird to be a Broncos fan because you're just looking for a quarterback to be
John Elway.
I just want to run. It's like you've never gotten that next guy to be your franchise guy,
right?
But you got Manning for 3 years to just win the Super Bowl and then bounce.
Get out of there.
And then now you're waiting for Rodgers to win the Super Bowl and retire. And
yes.
it's hilarious. Like
Yes.
your franchise has become the send-off team.
Yes. Yeah, I mean, but I think in Brady's statements, they seem like he is leaning towards retirement because he's talking about with Giselle, and I think Giselle kind of wants him to be done as well. So.
Well, she probably doesn't want to sleep in a 50-degree room every night. You know he sleeps in like a 55-degree room every night, right?
Yeah, for the cryotherapy.
Yeah.
So.
Ugh.
But anyway. Yeah.
I can't even stand in my house when it's 68, let alone 55.
68 in the winter, that's where it needs to be.
Ooh.
So, anyway, I just see, I think Brady will go. I think I can see him going. Next! Last one. Who will own the record for most Grand Slam titles in men's tennis? Novak Djokovic or Rafael Nadal? Now let's just set the scene here. So right now Nadal has 21.
Okay.
And Djokovic has 20. Obviously, Djokovic, who has won the most, the Grand Slams he's won, the most of them came from Australian Open. He can't obviously play that right now. Nadal is moving in, is close to getting the title there, so he can move that to 22 and have two leads,
I think Nadal might be able to get it just because they're both around the same age, aren't they?
I think Nadal's a little older. I think he's closer to 40.
Okay.
So
because honestly, I think Novak might be better, but Nadal has the lead, like you're saying, and that's a hard thing to do.
Right, and you got to go through. I mean, you got to cut down a lot of people.
Yeah.
Mendeveev, or I can't ever pronounce his name right. It's Mendeveev or something like that. But
Nadal, how old is he?
Okay, actually, hold on. Let's just stop right here. So Nadal's 35, but actually the record is tied at 20.
Oh.
I thought it was 21 is when I just
Good
heard
thing we
on
checked.
ESPN. But so it's tied at 20. So if Nadal is 21, that means Djokovic can't break the tie. Now he does need to win it solely. So that's interesting. It's a three-way tie between Federer.
That might switch it then.
Yeah, it's a three-way tie between Federer, and he's injured right now.
Yeah.
Nadal and Djokovic. So,
I think maybe Djokovic might have the chance here then, if they're tied, because he could win the next one. You know what I mean?
Djokovic is 34, so they're practically the same age.
I think Djokovic can do it.
I think he can too. I'm going to take Djokovic. I can see him in the long run, but his time is running short. Because
it's true.
And let's look at Serena Williams. She needs one more to tie Margaret Court to have the most Grand Slam titles, and she's had opportunity to do that the last 4 years and hasn't done it. And she's probably not going to do it. She's going to stay at 21 and not get to 22, which is
sucks.
sad.
Yep.
But that's how it's going to be. So, all right. On to Ryan's special section. Ryan, hit it.
All right, so we've got an option here for you because I was sitting here and I actually thought of another potential special section while we were sitting here, and then before we opened up HBO, I thought of a special section. But no, while we were on HBO, I thought of a special section about what the best streaming service was. So I'm going to ask you, do you want to do that, or would you like to do a special surprise that involves CBS versus Fox versus NBC versus ESPN?
Obviously, I'm going to say it involves football there.
All right, yeah. Do you want to do that?
Well, you know what we could do, because next week we're basically going to be off on football because who cares about the Pro Bowl?
Yeah.
Let's save that one for next week to talk about football.
Great.
And we'll talk about streaming
Great.
services.
Sounds good.
You
Sounds
got a
good.
list of these streaming services?
Well, I know I'm off dome. I mean, I'm just a big brain guy.
There's so many of them now.
Well, yeah. So let's talk about the main ones. Okay. So we're just gonna just have a little bit of talk about the streaming service. We're gonna figure out which one's the best one personally, and then overall.
Okay.
Okay. So obviously the big one, the big boy, the starter of it all, Netflix. Now, honestly, anymore with Netflix in 2022, a lot of their biggest content has been taken away because this used to be, Netflix was perfect because everybody was just like, oh yeah, you want our shows? Yeah, cool, have them. Pay us a little bit of money? Sweet. Well, now Netflix ended up being huge. Like, it's weird because the whole point with streaming services is it's all in one place. It's all here.
Yeah.
And then now, and it's like, oh, it's so much better than cable. I don't have to pay, all these different bills. Well, now it's cable again because if you want everything, you have to pay like 5-6 different bills. So it's just weird the way it's turned out.
I know.
It's essentially back to that. And what I think eventually is going to happen is that they're going to become conglomerates where they'll just combine it.
Conglomerates.
Well, I mean,
it's
it'll become
already monopoly.
Yeah, but I mean, it's going to probably get simplified into, Paramount and Peacock would partner with HBO and just make one big thing, and Netflix maybe partners with somebody to make one big thing, and then Disney will just consolidate and make it Disney Plus, and it'll have a sports section, an adult section, and then a Disney section. and the adult section would be like all the stuff they put on
about
Hulu.
Hulu?
No, Hulu's on the adult section is what I'm saying, because they own that.
Okay.
I'm saying I think eventually we'll see a consolidation. But right now, it's just wild. Like, everybody's got a streaming
It
service.
is. It's like the Wild Wild AFC this year.
It is, and HBO's the only one who really consolidated because they took the DC Universe and the Crunchyroll and all the stuff they had, and they shrank it all into HBO Max.
They've tapped into the Hanna-Barbera because they have Flintstones, Jetsons, other classic series, and all Scooby-Doo on there.
And an underrated show to watch on HBO Max, and obviously we're not supposed to be talking about HBO Max now, but I just thought of it. Underrated show that you could just put on, like, because one of the best things of streaming services is you want to have that, like, main go-to show to watch. It's like a comedy show, which is why I think it was a huge hit for Netflix to get Seinfeld.
Uh-huh.
But an underrated show on HBO Max is Whose Line Is It Anyway?
Yes, I agree with that. I like that show.
I think that's a really underrated pick to just pop on. I love, like, my cousin, because HBO Max launched, like, right June 2020. It was May 2020.
Yeah, supposed
and we would hang out with them, like, every week, because that was during, like, the big shutdown and everything. You knew that. You would come over, and we would go over there. Yeah, those were, like, the two things I did. I, like, hung out, well, three things. I hung out with my girlfriend, hung out with you, and then I hung out with my cousins. Those were, like, the three people I saw.
We all know who's the best out of those groups.
So... I'm sorry, Quinn. I don't know. I don't know if you're gonna get the answer you want here, but
Hey, like the Jackson 5, I'll be there. So how about that?
That's hilarious.
Okay.
That was a good one, Quinn.
Okay.
I gotta hand it to you. That was pretty good.
See?
So I would go over there and I was like, well, what do you want to watch HBO Max? I was like, oh, they got Fresh Prince. She's like, oh no, we're gonna watch Whose Line, and then we watched like 5 episodes, and I was like, man, all right, this is a freaking good choice. So they've got the old Whose Line, and that's a pretty big get. But what I'm back to saying about Netflix is so big on their original.
We're talking about old Whose Line. We're talking like
90s.
Black. Oh.
I'm talking about 90s, like, not old Whose Line. I'm talking about, like, Wayne.
Oh, Wayne Brady?
Yeah, Wayne Brady Whose Line.
Okay.
Are you going to push against me on this?
No, I'm pushing against
Okay,
you.
good. So what I'm saying about Netflix is that it is so heavy now on its original content. Like, they still have a good amount of an assortment of movies, but their original content is now their biggest offering. You know what I mean, Quinn?
Uh-huh.
And overall, their original content is very hit or miss.
On Netflix?
Yeah.
I agree.
I mean, I saw an interesting thing. If Netflix didn't have Squid Game randomly become huge, and then if they wouldn't have bought Cobra Kai, their 2021 would be awful. Like, they wouldn't have anything big.
Yeah, their own. Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm saying, like, they wouldn't have really anything big. The
Right.
biggest thing they would have had on there was purchasing Seinfeld.
Yeah.
So I just
Well,
think...
they had Sex Education Season 3 come out.
Yeah, but that's not a huge cultural show. Like, I'm saying...
No, but...
Cobra Kai is really...
Cobra
Cobra Kai is, like, one of their most watched
It's
shows.
a lot of ratings.
Yeah, it's true. It gets,
I'm just telling you.
it's a big
I
critical
watch it.
success. It's a critical success.
Yes, it is.
And it is a little more niche, though. I'm saying...
That's what they need. It's a teen comedy. It's an 18 to... It's
True.
18 to
That's
29.
true. That's
it's
true.
more of a 14 to 29.
They're becoming a little more...
13
They need to
29.
look into their audience more and make more niche shows instead of trying...
Yes.
Because what they're trying to do... Because Red Notice, to me, is a terrible thing that they did. Because it's like, we're going to try to appeal to the broadest audience possible. And
That's not going to work.
That's not going to work. That never works. And they're like, well, it's our most watched show. It's not most watches and everybody's like, man, I need to watch this. It's called, oh, I'll put this on and then I'll go do something else. That's the way Netflix works.
Right.
So, yeah, that their records will constantly be broken because people will just be like, I heard this is good. They pop it on. They go and do something else.
Yep.
And they glance up. So I think it's a weird thing. I think they have a nice range of stuff. Like, their assortment is wide, but it's not like every person on the... Like, Netflix is not going to be the service where you like everything on it. You like your handful of stuff, and that's it, because of that wide range. Mm-hmm. Now, moving over to Hulu, I think Hulu is a great setup if you're going to cut off, TV, because you can watch live television. It's the best for the sports stuff. And we could roll in YouTube TV, but YouTube TV is straight up like a cable replacement.
It is.
So that's why we're not going to really talk about it.
Yeah, it's a streaming cable.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all it is.
It's not really a streaming service. Whereas Hulu,
Right.
I mean, just Hulu at its base thing, though, is essentially, it's just very TV focused. It's got a lot of high quality shows on it, too. And so I think Hulu's a really good get if you like watching a lot of different television shows. I know it's got Atlanta, the Donald Glover show, which I've heard is amazing, which I really need to watch because it's Donald Glover. But, Quinn, you have Hulu, I think, right?
I splice it,
Yeah.
yes.
What do you think?
Should be made of that on
What do you
tape,
think?
but I am.
What do you think?
But anyway, I am a really big Hulu fan. I like they have some good original content as well
Okay.
that I like. And obviously...
Do you watch Handmaid's Tale? I know it's supposed to be good.
No, I have not, but I
Okay.
do. They do have all of SVU on there.
Okay.
And the episode the night before I mean, because it's on Thursday nights, it comes on the next day on Friday.
Yeah.
It's right
Is that part
on
of the
there.
live TV, or is that just
No,
normal? That's standard.
This is standard. It just
Wow,
comes right back
that's
on,
nice. Yeah.
which is awesome. So
even if you're not even doing the cable replacement Hulu, it's still nice like that. Yeah.
Yep, it does have that option. So I do like that. Netflix. I'm not a big Netflixer. Sometimes what I do, I know you don't have this, but Prime Video. I'm a big Prime Video person.
Okay, that was the next one I was going to bring up. Is
Yeah.
Prime Video, I think, is
It's underrated.
It is underrated.
It's got a lot of selection.
Well, here's the thing with Prime Videos. They've set it up really smartly where there's okay, so you have Prime. Here's the stuff that you get free with Prime.
Right.
And then here's everything else we don't own, but you can rent. Right. So if there's any movie you want to watch, like, for example, let's say you're really in the mood to watch Die Hard and you don't own it on DVD. Mm-hmm. You could have, like, HBO, which is HBO Max, because Warner Brothers, I think, owns Die Hard, so it's on HBO Max. Or you could pay $3 and rent it from Prime Video. So let's say, I'm saying, like, that's the nice thing, is you don't have to have that one streaming service. If you have Prime Video and you're okay with doling out a few bucks when you want to rent a movie, right, you can watch a lot of stuff that you would have to have a service for initially. You don't need to buy a service for one thing.
Yep.
And I think that's really nice. And they do little mini add-ons with HBO you can watch certain shows through. I think Prime's exceptionally underrated. And some of their original content, I know, like The Boys is obviously their big show that they market. Mm-hmm. But I know they had a really critically successful show. Like, it was really popular, but it was more niche. It hasn't gotten, like, big. And I think there's a chance because usually shows get really big around their second or third season. That's when they hit the cultural zeitgeist more. Right. Is that Invincible show, the animation show that was like, it's an animated show. It's not an anime because it's American made.
Yeah.
It's like an American cartoon, but a cartoon's like, it's called an animated show, and it's like about like a superhero, and it had J.K. Simmons, big J.K. Simmons fan here, as like one of the main characters, and it was apparently amazing. I still need to watch it, but they're really starting to put more into the original content game. Yeah, I think Prime's exceptionally underrated. And you also get, the 1 day or 2 day shipping or whatever with it.
Right.
So it's kind of like a thing where if you got Prime for the Amazon, and then, like, a lot of people have Prime anymore for Amazon, and then they don't even use the video part. I think the video is pretty freaking nice. I know my mom watched that Sean Bean show. Oh, man, she got really into that. It was like, Sharps, she just yelled from the upstairs. Yes, Sharps, where he's like a general or something like that.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know. It's Napoleonic Wars, like, historical show.
Okay.
And it was British.
Drama. Mm-hmm.
And she just paid like a little extra for like a BritBox add-on to Prime. So, that's really cool. It's from the 80s and 90s apparently.
Yeah.
As I'm getting fed information from upstairs.
It's coming right now.
But the point is,
just in.
Yes.
It's hot stuff. Hot stuff.
Everybody go watch this Sharp show. But it's got Sean Bean, a young Sean Bean, if you're into that. So, pre-Boromir. But, pre-Goldeneye. So, let's move on to one of the newer ones to the streaming game, Peacock. Do you even have Peacock, Quinn?
I don't.
Now, what I do think is nice about Peacock is they do offer a free version with the ads.
I would join if, they put all Law and Order reruns on.
Yeah.
But for some reason, Dick Wolf doesn't want that to happen.
Yeah, it's weird because I feel like NBC doesn't have enough range of content, just like Paramount Plus. I don't think we're really going to discuss Paramount Plus because they don't really have a must.
They don't.
If you don't have you need to have a killer show. Right, that is the base thing you need. Yeah. Apple TV Plus has like one killer show, and it's Ted Lasso.
Yes,
that is the show
that draws enough people in.
And it draws enough people in. And I mean, I don't think I'll ever get Apple TV Plus. And then Ted Lasso came out, and it's been recommended to me by a lot of people. And eventually, I am going to watch it. I haven't got around to it yet, but I mean, and Apple TV was around for like 2 or 3 years before they got Ted Lasso, and now that's all they market because they know this is our killer show.
Right.
And Netflix has got a couple, those Stranger Things, Cobra Kai, and, they market those. And then Hulu kind of had that with Handmaid's Tale. Now they don't think they really have, like, a main show they market. And then Prime obviously uses The Boys, and they might start using Invincible if it becomes more popular. Mm-hmm. Peacock doesn't have that. Paramount Plus doesn't have that. Now, Paramount Plus is developing a Halo show based off the Halo video games. I'm going to take a stab in the dark here. I think that has the opportunity to be really good because Halo, like the story in those games, is like the Star Wars of video games. Like there's a deep lore and it's interesting. If done right, that show could be the Paramount Plus's like big thing. And people might, only buy your subscription for like 14 days and then dump it because they just want to watch Halo. But some people forget about that and keep paying. So, you might make money.
Yes, they do.
And I mean, Star Trek fans will probably buy it because they got all the Star Treks on there. But it was really nice, and they were all on Netflix. But I think that's interesting with Peacock, Paramount Plus. We're kind of the same boat where I'm like, you have shows I like. Like, I like Cheers. I really like the show Psych. I don't know if you've ever watched.
Yes, we talked about this before.
I really like the show Psych, but, like, I'm not buying your service just for Psych.
Right.
I'd be better off to just buy a DVD collection.
Yes. It'd
So-
be cheaper in the long run.
It would be.
Yep.
And they offer the Psych for free, just of ads. And it's, like, not even that many ads. It's, like, I think like 3 minutes worth of ads, so it's not that big of a deal.
No, it's smaller than the TV show then.
So, am I forgetting anything big, or we want to wrap up with HBO?
I mean,
we can wrap up with HBO.
It.
I mean, yeah, HBO to me is the
most. You're not a
most.
Disney Pluser, so you can't really talk about.
Oh, we could talk about. I forgot about that. That's like one of the biggest ones.
Yes,
but I've used it. I've used Disney Plus.
Yes.
I think it's funny how every brand has their own little color. Like Netflix is the red, Hulu's the green, Plus is the blue. Paramount needs to figure out what they're doing.
They don't know what they're doing yet.
And then
it's kind of black.
It's like and then Apple TV's the black and white. And then Peacock's like the rainbow with the black. And then HBO's the purple, and I really dig the purple. I think the purple's pretty clean. But you don't like it?
Well, I mean, it's Mount Gilead.
Yeah, it's true, but I think the purple looks nice.
I mean, I support the business, but I'm not supporting the purple.
That's true. So Disney Plus to me is a weird setup because it is the reverse of Netflix, where it's you know what you're getting, and if you don't want it, don't come.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they're smart because they put Star Wars and Marvel on there. And, you know, if you're a Star Wars person like me or a Marvel person like me, you're going to watch probably 4 things on there.
Like you?
Yeah, like me. Yeah, like me. And you're going to watch maybe 4 things on that thing, but, you know, people will pay for it because they want to watch Mandalorian and the Marvel shows. And they're not... Because here's the weird thing with me about the Disney Plus is that most of the movies they offer are big enough that people already own them.
Right.
So it's a weird thing, but it's obviously a very good setup for families because you can just pop on Disney Plus. So I get that whole thing. But I'm saying, as me, it's not really something I'm dying for because it's like, unless there's a Marvel show going on or a Star Wars show I'm interested in, like The Mandalorian, what's the freaking point?
Right.
Because it's like, I own all the Star Wars movies, I own all the Marvel movies. So, and it's not like I'm ever really dying to watch a Disney movie, but you know what's an underrated thing to watch on there that me and my girlfriend enjoy doing? Is going back and watching those old goofy Disney Channel original movies. We watched one from 1999 the other day called Horse Sense.
Okay.
It had the 2 younger brothers of the guy. You remember the guy in Boy Meets World? What's his name? Hunter, Sean's friend. You know what I'm talking about?
I have no clue.
Okay, point is, it was his 2 younger brothers that never like went on to like have big careers.
Yeah.
But they were in this really goofy, like I mean, it's goofy 1999 cheap Disney Channel original movie stuff.
Yes.
It was hilarious, very predictable. I was calling shots home movie. I'm like, now wait, watch this. His dad's gonna be sick, and that's why he's not around. He died a couple years back. Boom, I was right. Like I was just calling how this movie was gonna write it, and then it was like, well, then he's gonna help him build his treehouse that his dad, you know, tried to build with him, and then boom, it happened. So those are kind of fun to go back and watch in in like a comedic, ironic way. But there's not like a killer. I mean, they do. The thing is, the Disney Plus though is they do have a killer show, and it's called The Mandalorian or WandaVision or whatever show they have going on. But the thing is, that is for a specific audience. So then lastly, HBO, which I think is very impressive because their back catalog is they have all the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, as we're watching right now, the Abominable Snowman one.
The Snow Ghost.
Yeah, Snow Ghost, but you know what I meant. And they have a lot of the Hanna-Barbera stuff. They have Batman the Animated Series, which I love that show. I have it up on VHS, but now I don't have to use the VHS, which is kind of... But I'll probably still use VHS just because it's kind of fun.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, so it's fun to put it into the player and everything and have to rewind. But... I mean, it is kind of cool. But they have a nice thing there, and then, I mean, the quality of content is the most consistent with HBO. Like, they only put out good stuff, pretty much. And even their stuff that's not really for me, like Euphoria. I hear Euphoria is very good.
Yep.
I've also heard it's overrated, so I don't know. But my sister really likes it. I don't think I'd like it. It's not for me, but I understand. Like, I'm like, yeah, they have quality shows.
Right.
My speed is a little more stuff like Barry. I really like Barry, but... I just think it's interesting. And then I think Warner Brothers movies, I watch a lot of Warner Brothers movies, and I look at the movie collection they have on there. I'm like, crap. I mean, I just recently watched The Matrix, and that's on there. So they've got a lot of stuff. I mean, my mom's really into the Terminator. They got that. So I think they got a lot of more movies. To me, they have a lot. Their library, they're like similar to Disney Plus, but I think they're a little less specific, and they're like the more like adult-oriented Disney Plus, essentially. So,
I can see it.
Yeah. Which, now to wrap things up, because this is just essentially a discussion, which one do you think has the best like look, like UI-wise?
Best look?
Yeah, like when you boot it up, which one do you think looks the best? Which one do you like using
Just
the best?
aesthetics.
Yeah.
Just as use.
Aesthetic and like usage, like technicality. Because I don't think Prime's very good to use, and it doesn't really look good. As efficient
It's
as Prime
clunky.
is,
It's
it's clunky. It's very clunky. It feels like 2015.
It seems cliche to say Netflix, but
I hate the autoplay. I mean, you can turn it off, but I don't like autoplay. It's annoying.
I do. What's annoying about HBO Max is that when you click on a show, let's just say
Yeah.
I just want to hit. I just want
I know
to
what
see
you're
more.
saying,
I
yep.
just want to see more episodes. Play a different one.
Yep.
So like if I want to press Scooby-Doo, Where Are You, for an example, it goes right in that show. I saw
Yep.
that. I don't want
Yep.
that. I want to go to
Yep.
more episodes.
That's
So
annoying.
to give the nod, I'm giving it to Hulu.
No, I do like the way they're set up. It's really nice. They have a little picture for everything.
Yes.
And what I liked is when Seinfeld was on there, they had a very they had the coordinated collection thing, where it'd be like the yada yada episodes,
Yes.
or the many girlfriends of
Yes.
Jerry. It's like,
Which I like that
that's
too because
cool.
they had that for SVU as well.
Yes.
In the headline.
And like Netflix doesn't do that, obviously.
Nope.
And I really liked that. I'm like, that has a little bit more personality to like longtime fans. I thought that was really cool.
Yep, I agree.
So yeah, what do you think Hulu's the best then? Personally,
Overall,
yeah.
content-wise,
Just overall, the overall thing, is that your like favorite to use?
no, I'm probably HBO Max more.
Based off pure content, I just think there's a lot of stuff on there I'd like, so I'm with you.
There is.
Yeah.
It's just a wide range, and that's
Yeah.
what I like it. Speaking of, because you brought up Batman earlier,
Oh man,
I was
we
gonna
always
ask
get on to
you-
the Batman.
I was gonna text you last night, but then obviously we had the game, so you're probably tired anyway.
Yeah.
Afterwards, but they had a Batman movie marathon, the Dark Knight trilogy on last night. On
Really?
USA.
You can pop in on any of those and have a nice time.
I know. So that was at the end of Batman Begins. With the scene of Katie Holmes and
Yes.
Christian Bale coming together. Well, then obviously, so I paused it because this is what I really like nice about DirecTV with the Genie is that for some reason before you couldn't pause it, but now you can pause the live TV and then play a recording over it because it didn't do that before.
That's weird.
Before the Genie, before I got the Genie. But maybe it does. It's just a feature on everything now. Maybe it was an update they had to have. But
Yeah, maybe.
anywho,
I don't know.
So I watched Pardon the Interruption and then Jeopardy.
Okay.
And then I came back to it, and that's how I watched last night was The Dark Knight.
Nice.
And obviously we have to go, why so serious?
That's the
Because
classic,
that
yeah,
is
of
classic
course.
right there. After Joker tells
I
the story
think
about his dad.
I can't decide what they're gonna do with this Batman with Robert Pattinson. Like, do they have the balls to be like, "Yep, we're doing a new Joker"? And I think because like,
No, we're bringing back Joaquin.
well, that's the issue. Is will Joaquin come do it?
Well, Joaquin's going to have to lose all that weight again. He gained all back, so I guess it's going to be the problem.
Maybe he's Fat Joker.
No, he's got to get in shape. If you want to be Penguin, he needs to keep putting on the pounds.
Well, that's what Colin Farrell did. He's like unrecognizable as Penguin.
Yeah, I'm sure.
I can't wait to see that movie.
can't
It's gonna
wait.
be
It's
awesome.
good. We're
I already got friends being like, "Hey Ryan, we're going." I'm like, "All right, this is my next
I already
Spider-Man."
called you first.
I know.
We're going.
You're going. You're going to see the first reaction. But this is already the next Spider-Man for me. I'm going to see it like 4 times. It's already. I mean, it's.
I know you're going.
I'm already getting dates lined up from people. It's like, Ryan, I got to see this with you. All right. Okay.
I know. I've
Put you
already
down.
had. I got a couple people that want.
You already called me.
I'm gonna have to go with my family as well.
Yeah.
So
See,
I
I'll have to
guess I'm
go.
gonna
My
go
sister's
twice.
going to want to go. My mom's probably going to want to go.
There you go.
So yeah.
Danger thin ice.
Danger
So-
thin ice is what Shaggy's holding up. Yeah.
Anyway, happy time, people. Happy 45th birthday today, Vince Carter. Vince Carter, known as Vinsanity, played his college career at North Carolina. He was recruited under Dean Smith and played for him his first 2 seasons. Then he was drafted by the Toronto Raptors in 1998 and was a journeyman throughout his time in the NBA, making stops at the Nets, the Grizzlies, and the Hawks, along with 2 other teams. And Vince Carter, he's mostly known for his dunking ability, especially for the dunk contest he had at the beginning of his career. And that's what he will be known for by multiple journalists.
1999?
coaches, and others. Yes, 1999
Yep.
on that dunking contest.
It's over. It's over.
Yes.
Put the hands up. Yeah.
Yes.
Iconic.
And happy 61st
Wait, I had something to say
birthday.
about Vince. I had something to say about Vince.
Go.
No, I'm a big Vince Carter fan. Like,
I
this is actually
know.
something I'm really like. When I was younger, like I would watch his dunk contest, and I would just watch like highlights of him, and I was like, man, this guy's electric. Like I loved Vince Carter, and to this day, like he actually is like one of those players where it's like he was never the best player on like an incredibly good team.
Nope.
But he was always good. Like he was consistently a great player, not an amazing player, but like I don't know. He's obviously better than like a Shake Milton, as much as I love Shake Milton.
Right.
But he's not like, I don't know. He's kind of on the level of like he's like a lesser Manu Ginobili.
I can see that.
Manu's kind of underrated anymore, but
Yes.
like a lesser version of that.
Yep.
And I I don't think he really gets enough credit for how talented he really was, and I really like Vince Carter. He's actually like oddly probably one of my favorite, like the Ryan Klinger favorite players of all time starting lineup. He might be the small forward. He might be my favorite small forward ever. And because Giannis would be power forward, and then Jared Allen is really starting to beat up on Embiid and Shaq for my favorite center to ever play. And then Bird's probably my backup small forward. Rodman's my backup power forward. And then point guard, I don't really have like one point guard I'm incredibly attached to. It might be Stockton. I do like Stockton.
Really?
Actually, no, it's Ja and then Stockton. Sorry, there is a point guard I'm attached to. It's
No
Ja.
Magic at all?
Yeah, I'm not a big Magic guy. I was much more of a Bird guy. I've always been more of a Bird guy.
I know. I don't know what you're doing.
And then I really like Bird. I really like
Bird,
Bird.
maybe.
I really like Bird. And then
Are you a doppelganger? Are you a younger Bird?
me, I am not as talented as Larry Bird.
No, but you look like him, kind of.
Yeah, I don't think my nose is that big. He's got a beak.
I know, but you're getting the shaggy hair going.
I am.
This
I
is
am.
why.
It's the blonde Herbert look.
And the
though.
height. And you got the height?
Yeah, it's true.
I mean, well, you're not 6'9", but I mean...
Yeah, and I'm not a hick from French Lick, which sucks. But,
no.
you know.
Instead, you're Bounty from Morrow County. I don't know.
There it is. And then probably my favorite shooting guard, I have to go with like Luka, but there's not really a lot of. Can I just put Bird at shooting guard? I mean, he never really played it, but I really Shake Milton. I guess Shake will be my starter, and backup will be Luka.
I guess.
Yeah, my team's going undefeated. Ja Morant, Shake Milton, Vince Carter,
And
Giannis, and Jared Allen. I mean,
Yeah.
got some great hair dudes on there with Larry Bird coaching the team. Maybe
There you go.
that he'll coach
He
and
coached at one
play.
point.
He'll play or coach.
Player man, yeah, just like Pete Rose is a player man.
There it is.
There you go. Also, happy 61st birthday, Wayne Gretzky.
Hockey
today.
goat. Hockey goat.
Yes, he won 4 championships, all with the Edmonton Oilers in over his 20-year career. He did go undrafted to the NHL, if you did not know
What?
that.
I did not know that.
He holds records that'll probably never come down.
Yeah.
And these are season records in the NHL.
The only one I think is
He scored 92 goals in one season.
Yep.
He had 163 assists in one season, and he scored 215 points in that same season. He had 163 assists. So there you go on that.
I think Overchin might be his career goals. Alexander Overchin for the
Alexander Ovechkin?
Ovechkin, yeah. See, guys, I you know I'm terrible at names, Quinn. You know I'm awful at names. I
I'm
apologize.
working on you.
Ovechkin? Really?
Ovechkin.
Is it Russian? What is that?
Yes, it is Russian.
Well, those Russians are good at hockey. I mean,
Obviously.
the Red Wings, dude. The Russian Five. It's like that book my mom really likes with the Red Wings, yeah.
Yes.
So, what I was saying is, Ovechkin, I know, is on track to potentially beat Gretzky's record for the most goals in a career, right? I think that's a thing, yeah. I think that's a real
Can
thing.
you believe that Ovechkin is 239 pounds?
What?
I know. He's that thick. It's crazy. Yeah, Moscow. He's from Moscow.
Moscow. Nice.
So anyway, anything else to say about
No,
Wayne
really
Gretzky?
not. I just wondered, is he close to beating that record?
I don't know. I can't really look. I'm looking.
Most NHL goals in a career?
Okay, hold on. NHL totals. 730 goals right now.
Mm-hmm. What's Gretzky's?
And Gretzky's is, if I can get back there, NHL, and this is the goals, 894.
Okay. Well, he could do it.
He could. I agree.
But I think the theory on it is that he won't. It just he'll come close. I think that's what I've read.
Yeah.
So.
All right, happy anniversary, Phil Simms. 25 years ago yesterday, Phil Simms won Super Bowl 21 over the John Elway Denver Broncos. He threw for 22 25, 268, and 3 touchdowns. But what's more important is that with Parcells as the coach, that team popularized the Gatorade shower. And the Gatorade shower, okay, hold on. I just did this is some wrong math. It's 35 years ago, people. No wonder it didn't
Oh, I
make
thought you were
sense.
holding
I
us
was about
off to talk about
1986.
the Ghost of Hyde.
No, 1986. I forgot. I mean, 87. Excuse me. It's the 86 season. I don't know how that happened, but anyway, that season started the popularization of the Gatorade shower, where after every game that Giants team won, they dumped the Gatorade over Parcells.
Really?
Yes, and they did it every game they won that year,
And then it was outdone by the Cheez-It Bowl.
and his a quote from Matt Klinger would say, "That's the biggest waste of Cheez-Its I've ever seen."
He's a big Cheez-It fan.
Yes.
I mean, he was upset that game. He's
Yes,
like,
he was.
how all those good Cheez-Its went to waste.
And Hopper wouldn't be happy.
Oh no,
either.
my cat loves Cheez-Its.
Yes. So, but
Doesn't like catnip, loves Cheez-Its.
loves Cheez-Its. But I do find that interesting that that's where the popularization of that.
Yeah, I never knew that. That's interesting.
Yes. All right, and happy trails to the Jacksonville Jaguars head coach opening position. It is anticipated this week that Bucs offensive coordinator Byron Leftwich, as I foreshadowed earlier in this episode, will be hired as soon as possible for this position. And as Ryan says, he deserves it. I agree. He's shown that he is capable of being a head coach.
Yeah.
And to end today's happy time, a solemn remembrance. Tomorrow, January 26th. Tomorrow, January 27th, is International Holocaust Remembrance Day. And 77 years ago, the liberation of Auschwitz-Birkenau happened by the Soviets in 1945. That ended the largest extermination camp ran by Nazi Germany. Over 12 million people were perished because of the Holocaust and the systematic murder there. And if you observed a moment of silence, just 1 second for each one of those people, you'd have to be silent for
What's the math you're doing?
139 days approximately straight.
Wow.
To honor 12
That's
million
wild.
people, 6 million Jews within that. So please remember those who have fallen that day because of evil in this world. And it's time for the big finish now.
Oh, I wanted to throw in, today is 2 years away from the death of one of the greatest basketball players of all time. And honestly, a great businessman. He had a lot of big plans, with documentaries and stuff. And I really, I think his death brought a lot more awareness to the great things he was doing off the court. And that's Kobe Bryant and obviously his daughter, Gianna Bryant. And, obviously real tragedy, especially with her. She was great,
Right, she was a
great women's basketball.
Yes, she was. Big UConn fan.
Yes, and, it's really a tragedy on both sides because Kobe had a lot of interesting projects he was working on. I mean, I think, honestly, this body armor flavor that they're made after him is the best body armor flavor. And it's not like a joke. It's the best. But I really I think he had a lot of, big plans for the sports world, and it's really upsetting that happened. And I do think there's a weird thing now, though, where a lot more respect is thrown Kobe's way now, where people are like, yeah, he is one of the best ever. He might be better than LeBron all time. I think there's a really interesting argument there. I go back and forth. Some days I think LeBron's better. Other days I think it's him. I think it's MJ and then Kobe or LeBron. And, there's a lot of credit, I think, that needs to be shown Kobe's way, and I think a lot of that's coming. I still remember it was really weird because LeBron broke some record of his the night before, because I think LeBron was playing
Was it the scoring?
Yeah, it was against the Sixers, too, because it was in Philadelphia. And then the next day, my sister texted me and was like, oh, my gosh, Kobe just died. And I thought she was using it as, a figure of speech because his record fell. LeBron killed him or, whatever, right? Yeah. And I was like, yeah, LeBron broke the record. She's like, no, look it up. And then I looked it up, and I was like, it was cerebral. I still remember sitting, where I was. It was one of those where you remember where you were. And that was wild. I'd never experienced something like that with... really, the only other time I can even put something close to that was when Chadwick Boseman died. But Kobe was bigger to me because Kobe's untouchable. It's he's not human, kind of like MJ. And it's so weird to see a guy that you picture doing Hall of Fame speeches and all these things and he doesn't get to do a Hall of Fame speech, and that's really tragic. And obviously, the daughter is obviously a huge part of this. We have no clue. We have an idea that she was going to be amazing, and you never get that career, and that's really upsetting. And I appreciate all the work his wife's doing, with the foundations they started in their honor. But it's really, it was really an upsetting thing for a lot of basketball fans, and I really felt it. And keep in mind, I didn't even watch Kobe that much growing up, and wasn't even a huge Kobe fan, so I can't even imagine people who are a guy I know who's a big Laker fan because of Kobe. I'm that's really tough. So 2 years ago today. So.
All right, now it's time for the big finish.
All right.
Ready for picks for this week?
Yep.
And as we're starting to, we're dwindling on NFL, we're going to start picking some basketball.
All right, sounds great.
So that's what you like.
We already picked the Cavs Bucks, so let me check how that ended.
So here we go. Are you ready for the NFL?
Yes.
All right. For the NFL, the conference championships, AFC, Chiefs, Bengals.
I gotta ride this Bengals wave, Quinn. I gotta ride it. Go Bengals.
Go Mahomes, Chiefs.
Oh,
NFC.
you said go Mahomes. All right, I'm happy with you.
NFC.
I love Mahomes, though.
Rams
Come on, go
versus
Bengals.
Rams, Niners.
I gotta ride the Rams thing, too. Go. Rams are winning.
Go Rams. I'm taking the Rams.
I gotta
too.
ride this out.
Come on, Natty staff. Here we go. In
Come
the
on,
NBA,
Bengals. Get the upset.
Cavs, Bucks. I'm taking the Cavs.
We
How
already
about you?
both took tabs.
Okay.
I'm getting the score to load. You might want to look it up on
All
your
right,
phone. Yours
and
been
then
loading well.
Sixers versus Lakers this week.
I'm gonna take the Sixers. The Lakers have been looking terrible.
I'm going to go with the Sixers, too. I don't know what's going on with Russell Westbrook there. Warriors versus Nets.
Oh man, this is a tough one.
Yeah, and Kyrie can't play.
Kyrie
San
can't play.
Francisco.
I think the Warriors are gonna win. I think Steph might have a big night. He's gonna get out of the slump he's in.
I'm taking the Warriors too, and I don't know.
All
We
right.
just keep picking the same thing.
All right.
So we're never gonna. Our fate's gonna be dually combined. Jazz, Timberwolves.
I had a weird thing the other day. I was out eating with my friends, and we were watching, and they all know I really like this Knicks team because we've watched. The Knicks are oddly.
How we get to the Knicks?
Well, listen, let's lead something. The Knicks, you know, I always have some weird way of making it work. So the Knicks.
We only got 30 seconds.
All right, the Knicks. The thing with the Knicks is they're on national TV a lot, especially now. Last year they had a good year, and we were watching them play the Timberwolves. Oh, the Cavs won!
Already
Woo!
done.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, baby.
I think they have a chance to get the number 1 seed in the East. I was talking about that on my podcast. I'm very excited for that. That'd be awesome. So, the Knicks were playing the Timberwolves, and the Timberwolves were down by like 5. And I was like, the Timberwolves are the type of team to just randomly win this game. And they're like, well, who do you think's going to win? And I said, Timberwolves. They won by 2 points.
So you're taking the Timberwolves?
So I just think
Is this a story I take
for some reason they're just gonna win it for no reason. Let's just do it again. Timberwolves. I love you, Donovan Mitchell, but no.
I'm taking the Jazz. I like Rudy Gobert.
He's
see a big
overrated.
game. I see a
No,
big game
no.
coming.
Now, also, I should fix what I said earlier.
Yeah.
Shake Milton starter Donovan Mitchell, and tied with Luka for the backup shooting
Oh,
guard.
I see.
So if it's a 13-man rotation, it'll be him and Luka
you got a
splitting
13-man
time.
rotation? I don't know if
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
happening.
And then my
Okay.
favorite coach of all time.
Frank Vogel.
You
George
know I don't.
Karl.
No, it's
Pat Riley.
it's probably
Jerry
There's a
West.
holy trinity. There's a holy
Jerry
trinity of
West.
favorite Ryan coaches. It's Greg Popovich, Phil Jackson,
Jackson.
because you gotta respect Phil, and then top who I'm gonna give it right now, and I think if he can deliver Cleveland a championship, he's gonna be my favorite ever. JB Bickerstaff, baby. You gotta love Bickerstaff.
I hear ya. Okay. All right. You got a shout out or what's the deal?
Yeah, I got a big thank you. I got a thank you, actually. It's going to go out to my mom because we were talking to him before the podcast. I know. I'm such a great guy. We were talking before the podcast a couple weeks back, and I said, all right, Chiefs, Bengals. I think one of them's going to win the Super Bowl. Who do I take? She's like, well, Ryan, you might as well go with the Bengals. It's a much more fun pick. And, they got the mojo in the right direction right now. And so I took the Bengals, and I'm happy that I listened to that. So
There you go.
thank you to her. And then on a more sports-related thank you, I do have one for that's a sarcastic thank you to Rob Manfred. Because thank you for making it so we might not get baseball this year. Like, come on. You just accept the players what the players want. Let the
know.
minor leaguers have a living wage.
Usually people are always blaming the unions, and it's on the unions.
No, it's his fault.
Exactly.
It's so bad.
Exactly.
And it's a sarcasm. It's a thank you. That's the type of thank you
That's
this
right.
is.
You got it. It's a
I
sassy
usually give
thank
out
you.
nice thank yous, but
It's a
I'm sick
sassy
of it.
thank you tonight.
The MLB had an amazing season last year,
Mm-hmm.
and Shohei, Tatis, Acuna. Sorry, I said
Yes,
Acuna.
Acuna.
It's not Acuna
Yes.
Matata. It's Acuna. So Ronald Acuna and like Juan Soto, they have all these great players. They're starting to market the players, and that's great. And they're shooting themselves in the foot. Like, if you are off this spring, people are going to go watch USFL. Like, I'm serious,
I
Quinn.
hear ya.
That's where the market's going to go. And then summer, all your ratings are going to go to the NBA playoffs.
Yeah.
And then there's going to be a nothing in July and August. People might watch the draft combine. That's how low we've fallen, Quinn.
I know. That
So
happens,
they better get it fixed. Because
I hear ya.
if they get it fixed in June, then they're not going to do a season.
I hear ya.
At that point, it's like whatever.
Yes.
And that
I hear
loses
ya.
you season. Ticket holders,
Money.
yeah, and it's like there's a lot of guys in the MLB, there's the older guys, they just get sick of it and they're like, yeah, screw this. So, I'm very upset. And also, this is a really great episode. I love the Mr. Hyde one because what's really cool about him, he's actually like legit scary.
I know.
Like the ghost of Mr. Hyde and Scooby-Doo. Because what's funny about him is he's one of like the only ghosts I've ever seen to like get in the Mystery Machine. Like that's like a holy place, and he busted into it.
And you got
like legitimately kind of scary.
You got the Creeper.
Yes, the Creeper's my favorite, by the way. The Creeper's my favorite Scooby-Doo.
And then
we've talked about that before.
Hyde.
Yeah,
Yes.
Mr. Hyde, and then Space Coop. Is he also pretty scary?
Yes, but he doesn't get in the Mystery Machine. I don't know who else.
Does Creeper get in the Mystery Machine?
Yes.
He does? Okay.
After they go after the...
Oh, yeah. I know what you're talking about. Yep,
Yeah.
I remember that.
And then...
Because I don't think anybody else does. You have to be really evil to get in the Mystery
You
Machine.
gotta really get in there.
That's like getting into the gates of like the Holy City.
Yes.
That you can't do
like
that.
Monty Python the Holy Grail.
Yeah, it is.
Holy
It
Grail,
is.
right?
It is.
So, all right, a quick shout out from me goes back to I'm hitting her name a lot, Amy Schneider again.
Yeah.
She is now second place for all-time Jeopardy regular season wins, 40 of them.
Put her up against Ken
40.
Jennings, guys.
Can't do it because he's already given up.
Oh.
Because once he did the GOAT and he started being a consulting producer, he gave up his rights to ever play again. So he will never play again.
Really? Well, that's really
Yes.
interesting.
So that if they ever had to do another big tournament, it'd be her, Matt Amodio, and James Holzhauer, which I think would be interesting.
Who's the guy with like the short black hair?
That's James Holzhauer.
He
gambled all the money?
Yeah, he's good.
Yes.
He's good.
Yes.
I think Amodio's the weakest out of those three.
I think he can be. Amy's really just blown some...
Amy's good.
Amy's really just blown some Final Jeopardies recently.
That's true.
She should have another couple $100,000. But
That's true. Actually, the biggest streak I watched at Jeopardy was when Rogers was on it, and it was quite enjoyable. I really liked Rogers.
yes, I pushed you to do that. See?
Yeah, you told me to watch it, and I was like, man, this is really good with Rogers.
know.
It's
See?
not, I mean, the best ever
He
is
was
obviously
underrated.
Trebek.
Well, yes.
And I think they should make Jennings at full-time eventually.
That's how it's going to be, because I really wanted Mayim to be it, but I think Mayim's going to get it.
Yeah.
Because she's sticking to her guns over her show, Call Me Cat.
Yeah, and she's a really talented lady. She can do a lot of
Yeah,
other things
she's done a
than
lot
just
of
be
things.
Jeopardy.
She's literally a neuroscientist.
Yeah,
folks, so
she's great, and she's really good in The Big Bang Theory. I really like her. She's
Yes,
great, and
she's
she
really
obviously
nice.
had a big one, like a childhood actor that had a successful career.
Yes.
because she was on Blossom.
Yes.
She is Blossom.
Yes, she is. So
Yeah.
there you go.
Wait, the guy from Horse Sense was one of the characters in Blossom. The guy in that crappy DCOM I watched. That was hilarious.
So there you go.
There it is. It came full circle, Quinn.
All right. We love you. Thanks for listening to the podcast. Bye-bye. This is Quinn Maseko speaking for the Big Salad Podcast, a Ryan Klinger production. Please note that portions of this podcast were edited before the final cut was produced, and this episode was recorded on January 26th. The sections of Happy Time, Toss Up, and The Big Finish are copied from the ESPN show Part of the Interruption, and there was no intention to infringe on the copyrights of these segments and their related musics. Stay tuned for our next podcast next Monday here on the Sorta Sports Podcast YouTube channel.